No. It should be good, Mr. Chairman.
All right, good evening all. It is October 19th, 2022, 6:06 PM. I'm going to call to order the Solid Waste Committee. I'm also going to do a roll call. Chairman John Lawrence, present.
I'll close that door.
Peter, how is the volume? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right, so we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. I don't have any idea what is up with this system. All the volumes are up. Oh. I think that's for the DVD. So both volumes on my end are at 100. But one second. Hold on, 1 sec, hold on.
Must be on yours.
Hold on, it's right here. Peter, how is that? Is that better?
Yeah, it's fine. I can hear clearly.
All right.
The volume is great.
And we just fixed it on our end too, Peter. I guess almost blue tide across the other side of the room with the volume here. But
Yep.
okay.
I'm just going to read you the roll call. Chairman John Lawrence, present.
Todd Billing, present.
Mike Long, Town Administrator, present.
Barbara Cheney, Board of Health.
Bob Perry, a member, present. James Aguirre, Building Commissioner, present.
Peter Karen, Selectman, present via Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone else stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, everybody, look over the minutes for the last two meetings, September 7th and September 20th.
Yes.
I wrote.
So you really looked them over,
Yes,
right?
Mr. Chairman, I'll stand by the comments that I made a few moments ago. I thought they were very well done. And, just kidding. And I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 7th, 2022.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I was not present, so I cannot vote.
Well, then I guess I couldn't either.
So I thought Selectman Goulart clarified this already. You can't vote on minutes
Yes.
even if you were not present.
Okay,
Okay, in that case, I approve.
okay.
It's just, I wouldn't sign them.
Right.
Yeah.
Any nays?
And then make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 20th, 2022.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No, thank you. Old business, review, discuss, act, consider candidates to recommend to the Solid Waste Committee, which is Raymond Hay and Thomas Pires, who are.
So I talked to Mr. Hague this morning and he said that he, at this point in time, is not interested. He'd rather defer to Mr. Pires. He said that if there's an opening on the committee, that he would gladly step in for that, but he's not about to be in competition with anyone. Can't say that right.
Is Mr. Pye still interested?
He was still interested, he just couldn't make it tonight.
You have to be present in order to make a recommendation to the board of health.
No, I say we make him clerk too. I second that motion.
That's great. That's a great idea.
That'll
Yeah. Great idea.
Hopefully.
Before he changes his mind.
Is that recommendation in the form of a motion?
Yes, and I second it.
To recommend Mr. Pires for appointment with the stipulation that he become the clerk.
Even Peter's laughing.
That's funny.
Just wait until he hears it.
So that's already been motioned and.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? No nays. So we're gonna wait for B, which is discuss act to test out diverse program recommendation. We're gonna wait for CMRK to come via Zoom.
Yeah, would it be appropriate though if I ask Administrator Mullen to talk a minute about that? Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to I have to jet out in about 8 minutes. So I'll just provide a little bit of the context about what you're gonna hear, I believe. After we met with HelpC last month, we, as the Board of Health has mentioned previously, this market is rapidly evolving based on the requirements that DEP continues to come up with that we're planning for. And we met with HelpC last month, but right around the same time, we also heard from CMRK as well. So we wanted to do our due diligence because even though, the dollar value here of the service is exempt from the requirements of procurement, we like to do our due diligence and make sure we're actually really getting a good understanding of number one, companies we recommend they were fit for Dayton, and a good low view of the market. And at the beginning last week or the week before, Chair Catavia, Roz Grassi and I, we did reach out to CMRK, Taylor Millspaw, who will be joining us via Zoom later. Had a really good conversation with her, and the long story short of it is the HelpC model, or the CMRK model is a little different from HelpC. So whereas HelpC is primarily focused on the textile diversion and includes the revenue for volume based on all type of textile that they collect, CMRK really incentivizes the revenue per volume based on the collection bins that they would have at the transfer station. The volume that they would collect curbside along with everything else they would collect at curbside, that would be provided as more of a service with no revenue attached to it. So it wouldn't go in to the revenue reimbursement formula that we would get. So essentially that any textile that's left out curbside wouldn't be in our volume revenue, but it would be provided as a service along with the other things that CMRK would actually take at the curbside that HelpC wouldn't, and that was one of the concerns that we had at the last meeting.
I know that you're not doing the presentation and we'll have a representative later, but isn't it important to quantify the amount that's picked up curbside for reporting purposes? And if we're not getting any revenue, is that still calculated?
So I understand your question, but on the offset, we don't have the information about what we collect in any collection bins because we don't currently have collection bins, so we're not really gonna get a true offset there though, you know what I mean?
No, I don't. You're right about the collection bins, but right now we have a report that comes from our current vendor, which I know we need to replace. That tells us how much.
Yeah, 2100, so it's about 21 pound, 2,100 pounds a month. That we right now only having curbside, that's what we get reimbursed for.
With HelpC, as I understood it, they were still going to pick up curbside by appointment. They were going to have the donation bins.
Yes.
But we're going to collectively get reported upon of what the total take was.
Yes, yes.
Obviously, in order for this to make sense, in my opinion,
Mhm.
we would have to have similar reporting, even if there was no revenue stream attached to the curbside, we would still have to capture that for reporting purposes.
I would assume they would calculate the volume, they just say we collected 3,000 pounds and we get $0 for it. That's one of the questions we can have.
So, and I do know, just, so in context, I mean, we didn't specifically get into that with CMRK because we didn't want to interfere with this process as well. So one of the things in CMRK, they're, in discussions with them, they are picking up a lot of prior simple recycling clients. So they're gonna be able to, I would imagine, really, get into the details of exactly what you're asking.
Just as a matter of information, Elsie's anticipated or projected, I should say, picking up 57,000 pounds of clothing in the first year. I don't know if I'd use that as a benchmark, but that was a number that was out there that Elsie used.
Yeah.
I don't think that number is realistic.
I don't either. I don't
Based
either.
based on 4 years we've been collecting.
Yeah, based on the
I
trends.
can probably tell you within 100 pounds what we're gonna collect. And it's-
No, again, that was their number, and I didn't agree with it at the time, but
So I understand a lot of questions from the presenter, but just initially, it looks like this new company would expand the pickup items
Yes.
versus what helps you was doing.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's.
Which was a concern we had when because it narrowed down to simple recycling, so.
Yes.
Right,
So I think to that end, I think there would be an offset in revenues that we would collect, because all the reimbursable volume textile revenues wouldn't be there, because a lot would still be collected curbside. So where there could be more value, however, is what is on the other stuff, generally speaking, that a CMRK would take to curbside, that would really divert from entering our solid waste stream in the
Right.
first place.
I recall last meeting, was a figure, what's the price again from, for disposal, from pickup all the way down to incinerator?
Oh, for trash, well, we're paying $77 a ton, $78 a ton just to have it burned.
Okay, do we know what the other pieces of that are? And there was a collection piece, the transport piece, and the incineration
I could
piece.
figure it out per ton, but I've never done it per ton.
That's
No,
one,
the only reason I asked is because considering any contractor, they're saying here, well, for instance, 7 cents a pound. That's on the plus side of the ledger. I think we need to put cost avoidance in there also as part of the calculation.
one of the issues that is on the table for future meetings is getting into the weeds to find out the soft costs, because none of that stuff is captured right now. And we need to do that, especially if we're gonna sharpen the pencil and get this sorted out.
Well, I know again, way back when, current vendor, there was a budget line for collection. There was a budget line for transportation, and there was a budget with the contract for CMAS.
Right.
Just rough math, if I just take Borges's annual divided by 18, the trash is somewhere $6 a ton plus $78 a ton. About $250 a ton.
But that includes collection,
Yes,
so,
let's say start to finish, yeah.
so that's not really a real number,
mhm,
Well,
because that includes tipping the trash cans.
no, I understand, but if they don't have to tip the trash can, this company comes and what would have gone in 2 trash cans goes in 1.5.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there is Borges's cost is based upon tonnage,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think each piece, each increment, sums up to what the total cost is.
Yeah, Borges, he's not based on ton, he's based on just driving around town. So whether he picks up 10 tons or 20 tons, it's the same price for him. It's we pay a CMAS per ton to dispose. So I took the total number of tons divided by his yearly cost and just came up with a price.
Okay, again, I'm going way back in time and
Yeah.
used to charge by the ton.
Yeah.
So that's,
He very well may have, yeah, I don't know
So-
that part.
But we all know that the number is more than 77, because you have to include transport, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're taking out X amount of tons by at least a number of $80 or $85, which is conservative still, I think, we can put a number on it. It might not be the exact number, but it's gonna be close.
yeah, and that also will lead to, contract renewal and negotiations. Say, well, okay, for the sake of argument, $250,000 to drive around town. Yeah, but now we've got 15% less, so let's sharpen them.
I know. But we also add a lot of homes along the way.
Well, no, I understand, so, okay, looking at it from the other side of that coin, then the cost doesn't need to go up because of the added, right, so.
So just, you know, last year was about 1,800 tons of trash and 12 tons of textiles.
Yeah, so we have to, forgive me if I'm interrupting, and, I'm leaving everything in the site secure to be just you guys in the site.
Yeah, we'll lock the site up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have to consider those figures, like, I was talking about earlier, say if like Borges retires or even
Well,
we have to.
Well, Borges is bound by a contract to the end of contract term, and then the Board of Health puts that contract back out. So if that was the case, then Borges would even have a clause in his contract for that. And we want people to know. So you can't just sign in the middle.
So, as I said, I hold off to see in my page already, now we're gonna go on to C. Review, discuss, act, mattress disposal program. We're having a large amount of mattresses come to the transfer. If anybody has been by recently, there are 20 to 25 mattresses that was not transported, those mattresses from last fall. And it seems like every Saturday, sometimes Wednesday, there's at least 5 to 6 mattresses on a good day. So I know that's an ongoing thing.
Well, we vetted this and we had narrowed down the company for companies. Right.
And
Right.
Price, their container, or whether we have our own container, and we're gonna discuss it further, because we have $12,000 of our budget for roll-up containers, but what they are using is not a roll-up. One of them, somebody would come in, the attendant would go over, open the doors, put the mattress in, stack them neatly. When it's full, you call and they come down and they take them out, they look at it, and they go, we're not taking this one, it's too dirty, and we throw it in the bulk container. If they like it, they would take it with them. But we have to have a container to keep them in, but it's just a trailer that we would be able to close. It's gotta be completely contained. Oh, no wonder we signed it up.
Yes,
There he is.
absolutely, I didn't want to give anybody's ears with,
Thank you. Hi. Good to see you.
Do they have, this company, do they have, criteria for what they consider clean or dirty, or what's acceptable and what isn't?
It goes on about stains and, rips and tears and that
But I mean, they
kind
do
of stuff.
have solid
They do have
criteria.
criteria, yes, and so the attendant will have to evaluate the mattress first, and if they like it's no good, it goes over there, but if they think it's good, but then when these people come up, they will evaluate it again.
Now, this company that we're talking to today, did they say they'd take the mattresses? I thought they said
How
they,
do we talk to that?
one that's coming on,
They do not do that.
they do.
So we're down to the two companies that we previously discussed, and I agree, it's unsightly. I was somewhat mortified when I looked at the pile the other day. They're out in the weather, getting wet, which both companies have told us is not appropriate. They won't take them if they're wet.
Mhm.
So we're not doing anything to help ourselves. Yet we've been talking about it for 2 months now. So I think we have to make a decision. So where are we at? I guess what you're saying is that if we go with company X, they'll supply everything all inclusive. Company Y is a lower price, but we have to supply the container, is that what it is?
Yes, so one of the, I don't remember which one, I'll look for it now, but one of them, if we took their container They charge us $300 a month for it to be there, $200 a month, whatever it was. And then $300 every time they haul it. Based on the number of mattresses we get, I estimated how many hauls it would be. And it comes out to somewhere around $49 a mattress. The other company, if we provide our own trailer, it was like $13 a mattress plus some other cost, but it comes to like $20 a mattress or $25 a mattress. It's significantly lower, but we need to provide a trailer.
So if we provide a trailer, we wouldn't have to run through the increase for the price of that anyway.
Well, we wanna be mindful,
Yeah.
we're trying to create a revenue stream, we wanna cover all the soft costs too. So, you know, I'm not willing to say that I'm okay with that. It would get closer to your number, but it still might have to be adjusted. Yes. So, I'm not a big fan of renting someone else's container, especially if it's a long-term venture that we're looking at. However, we do have to consider the cost of buying a container.
Which is how much?
So we have an emergency management container that we purchased,
Right.
which I think was $3,500 or $4,200. That's a 20-foot container that's weather tight, sealed, and lockable. I'm guessing that's the type of container we're gonna be looking at for mattresses.
What's that, the,
Yes,
length amount?
right. We bought that container a year and a half ago, so I don't know if there's been an escalation in costs. So we're looking at probably somewhere between $4,000 or $5,000.
Right.
Did they make a recommendation on what type trailer they wanted?
But the company that does it, Ace Harbor, Ace is the one, Ace Mattress. They also do Freetown, so Peter Borges is very familiar with the work, but it's like one of the trailers you have up at the front by the gate there, one of the,
Storage boxes,
Yeah. So, but the bigger it is, the more mattress you can put in, but when they show up with the truck, they can only put so many in their truck. So it's like a box truck they're pulling in with one of the longer ones. So I think I think Peter said something like a 40-foot trailer was what they have in Freetown and work for them.
So I'll tell you what I can offer in the interim. I have 2 storage containers there that I have leased on a monthly basis for the surplus auction. Surplus auction is closed. Those containers will be empty next week or within the next 10 days. I plan to get one back and keep the other one for cumulative surplus equipment for next year's auction.
Right.
We only pay $149 a month for those containers. We could keep the second container as opposed to sending it back and have Board of Health assume the cost of that container. In the interim, until we find out whether we want to purchase a container or there's some other means or method for a container.
So stopgap measure.
We have on site.
I just think, based upon the cost differential in the two companies, $5,000 for trailer. That's 200 mattresses, just paid for the trailer. I mean, the initial cost.
Right.
So, and just to throw out there, you said about 5,000 is the cost to buy one of those?
Yes.
Roughly. So every year we get, DEP comes out as part of the VTRAC, if you remember my PowerPoint presentation from way back. As part of that, because you fill it out, you get eligible for grants. And one of the grants that opens up every year is a bin for mattresses. It doesn't open up every year, and I don't think it was there last year, but at the time we weren't accepting mattresses, so we didn't go for it. But we may be able to get a grant for it, but if we don't, we usually get somewhere around $5,000, $5,500 in grant money. And that money could be used to buy that.
What's the definition of bin? Can it be any storage type container? No, I don't mean to pick at the words,
That's a good
what does
question.
bin mean?
It's a good question.
Oh, she's here. It has to be closable, like you can't have a lid on it. And I think there's like the box ones, you can slide them in and out.
Okay, so if that bin happened to be on wheels, it would still qualify as a bin.
Yeah, whatever truck they're pulling in, I think they like to go.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can we suspend this discussion and let
Absolutely,
her in, because I know she has other obligations too, so.
You're welcome.
She is here. You can say hello.
Hi, Dale, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry. I am calling from my car in Bernardston, Massachusetts.
That's okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you parked in a safe place, hopefully?
Yes, I'm parked in front of the in front of the town hall. I am not driving.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the floor is yours. Thank you for working with us. We appreciate you taking the time. I'm Jim Aguirre. I think Mr. Mullen told you that I would be here. I'm here with the Solid Waste Committee, and we are eager to hear what you have to offer.
All right, perfect. And again, I'm sorry that I'm calling in this way. Usually I would be in person, but your meeting was at the same time as another meeting I had pre-scheduled. So my name is Taylor Millspaw. I am the Director of Business Development at CMRK. CMRK has been around for 35 years. We collect clothing, textiles, and small household items in two main ways. Our first way is through our strategically placed clothing donation bins. I'm not sure if you guys got the packet that I had sent Mike, but we totally customize our bins. So we can put your town logo on our bins. We schedule them regularly and we clean them out. Per our contract, we'll respond within 1 business day of any instance of dumping. We pay you 7 cents for every pound of clothing and textiles that we collect in those bins. What is also great is it doesn't just have to be in perfect condition clothing. We will accept items that, you know, might be missing a button or might be a little torn or something like that. We'll still be able to accept that. The items that we can't accept are items that are completely soiled, wet, dirty, smelly, moldy, anything like that. We also are able to help you and your residents through our free curbside pickup. So what people are able to do, we took over the Big Brothers Big Sisters Foundation. People can call, go online, text, or schedule a free home pickup. We've already been servicing people in your area. So we've visited already 65 households this year, and together we could really increase those diversions. With that, it's great. We won't just accept clothing, but we also are able to accept household items. So those household items are things such as pots, pans, books, DVDs, essentially anything that's small that can fit in an Amazon box. We can take that free of charge for your residents. So we don't pay for home pickup because there's an increased cost for, you know, workers' comp, mileage, fuel, things of that nature, but that does count towards your overall diversion. Something that makes us different, we are a for-profit company, but we do give back. Our 3 main largest organizations that we worked with are St. Vincent de Paul, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Big Brothers Big Sisters Foundation. In that packet I sent, you'll find 3 letters of recommendation. Something I'm really proud of is that last year, our nonprofit partners received $992,493. So we give back to our community. We are based right in Northborough, Massachusetts, so we are part of your community. And also in your area, we are already working with a number of municipalities. Those would include Rehoboth, Fairhaven, Dartmouth, Lakeville. I'm trying to think on top of my head as well. We have Freetown, we just placed them, and also Rochester. So we are already in your community. We're already in your area. And so it's just an additional town that we're able to add on. I know that was a lot of information all at once.
No, that's okay. We listen well.
Oh, good.
Are you open for questions?
Absolutely. I would love to have any questions you might have.
I'm sure you've looked at Dayton and you've done some marketing analysis. How many bins would you need in Dayton to make it work? Because in full disclosure, we have a bylaw that prohibits placement of donation bins. So
Okay.
we would need to know exactly where you're at so that we understand what we may need to do on our end.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we love to do is place bins strategically where they're not likely to have dumping. So that would be transfer stations, police departments, council of aging. But, you know, if we want to start with just the transfer station and we prove ourselves and show you that we will service our bins as we say, that we do our payments, that's totally fine as well. Also, something that makes us unique and an additional benefit is that if you have a swap shop or if you're interested in opening a swap shop, we can take those swap shop items free of charge. The only thing is that we ask that your team box it up for our team. And again, that is helping you. We don't pay for those items, but that is lowering the amount of items that are going into the waste stream.
Okay. And because we need to quantify the amount that's taken out of the waste stream, how is your reporting work to the Board of Health?
Yep, so you will receive a quarterly update and as well as a check. And then by January 15th, you will receive a total report of how many pounds we collected from households, from bins, from, you know, the swap shop. So you will have that for your mandated report on February 15th for the Mass DEP. Also, something that we can help you with, we really focus on the Mass DEP RDP grant. So all of our marketing materials have already been translated into Spanish and into Portuguese. So that's helping you with your diversity and inclusion points on that grant. We also are able to give you marketing materials the first week of every month. Like this month, it says, pollution is scary, but donating isn't. Give the environment a treat. So we give you the language as well as the marketing material to help get that out there for you. We also are helping you get more points with the Mass DEP RDP grant by accepting not just clothing and textiles. So we'll take Christmas lights, we'll take, you know, the books, we'll take all of those other items to help you get the maximum amount of points as well.
Okay, great.
So just for the edification of the board, that's what I was mentioning, that there's grants that we get based on our reporting, and we have to report volumes and such. And if you remember back when I did that original PowerPoint, one of the things they're looking for is for us to start producing everything bilingually, and that was going to be tied in the future, I think, for DEP, but right now it's a consideration, but we knew it was coming.
Yep.
Did she say you should report quarterly?
Yes.
Yes.
And what would the contract terms be? What's the length of contract?
So we are not a very binding contract. We really believe in our services and what we can offer your town. We ask that you just give us 30 days notice if you want to terminate our partnership with a 30-day reconciliation period. I hope I never get to that point, but that's just saying that, you know, if someone comes in and offers you $10 per pound, which I mean, will not happen, but at least giving us a chance to work it out. But kind of the way that we look at relationships is if someone doesn't want to be in a partnership with us, we're not going to force them to. So our turnaround time is typically about 2 weeks, but the terms of our contract are not very binding because we're very confident in our service.
Okay. I have one other question. I'm sorry, but what is your, it sounds like you run a very tight ship, which is pleasant, so to speak.
Yes.
What is your marketing ploy to get the Dayton residents aware of your service, or is that something you put on the Board of Health?
So it's really a partnership. So what, like I said, we provide you marketing materials that you can put on social media. We can help you with press releases. You know, we can help you with marketing. If you say, hey, Taylor, I need a postcard, I can design that for you and help you disseminate that information. In addition, we do have a number of residents that are already donating to us, and we'll continue to market to them. Once people are on our list, they can receive text messages, they can receive emails from our organization. We do want the communication with the donor to be with us. We don't want you to be inundated with, you know, problems, not that there will be, but we want it to be through us. So if someone calls and says, hey, I have textiles, I want to donate, you can refer them to us.
How many bins would you recommend that we start with at the transfer station?
So to give you I don't want to say, oh, we should start with 5. My next step is I always love to go and meet you at the transfer station so we can see the items that you're working with. We can see the amount of volume. Do you have an idea of how much volume you are collecting right now?
Right now, we're running about 2,600 pounds a month.
Okay, so I would say 1 or 2 bins to start out with. I do think that because of the new legislation that's coming down in November, But what's great about us, we're based right in Northborough. We're already in your community, so we're going to be cleaning out your bins weekly. And, you know, I don't think that we need to have more than 2.
And everything goes into one bin?
So the only things that we can put in the bin are the clothing. If you do have swap shop, those items would be boxed up separately. And if someone wants to donate household items, we would also ask that is done through house to house as well, but no household items go in our boxes.
Yeah, so just to clarify, the bins would be strictly for textiles.
Right.
If a
Correct.
homeowner wants to donate household items, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor, is they would need to box that item and then they would set up for curbside pickup, correct?
Correct, unless you already have an established swap shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so the books would not be included.
Right.
I'm just thinking of the bin that we had behind town hall for books. I don't know if you remember, that was full almost immediately.
Yes.
And overflowing
Right.
shortly after.
We can provide book bins.
Oh, you can, okay,
Yes, we don't pay for those,
right.
but we can help you with books.
Okay.
With the swap table, would we have to box it up or would the company do it?
Yeah, so your team would have to box that up only because we have so many stops that we're going to and our guys just don't have the time to box it up. But, you know, you could have 200 boxes, our guys will take it. They just don't have the time to actually do the boxing themselves.
And I'm assuming you don't provide the boxes.
No, unfortunately, we do not. But all those Amazon boxes, divert them out of your waste stream, put them aside and box them up.
One last question from me, Taylor. Presuming that we go with you, and obviously, you know, we need to make a recommendation, it needs to go through the process. Customizing bins was one of your first points that you made.
Yes.
How long, once we enter into a contract, would mobilization take effect?
So typically it's 2 weeks, but it's kind of the rush time right now before November 1st. So it's about 3 weeks out wait time. Not bad, but there is a little bit of a delay because we have so many coming down. And then I would be happy to meet with you guys in person. I live in Cumberland. I grew up right in Barrington, right in your neck of the woods. So I would love to meet you guys in person, see the swap shop.
Perfect. Quick question on items that are boxed up by residents. Do you need an inventory, say, written on the outside of that box?
No, not at all. So the only thing that we ask is that they clearly mark them for our organization. That ensures that we're not accidentally taking an Amazon box. So our drivers are instructed to use any item that's not clear.
It's you guys taking all the Amazon boxes.
It is not us, but that's why we have made that change to ensure that we are taking only items that are for us. And I know that you guys have worked with Simple Recycling in the past, and something that makes us different is that we don't do the up and down looking in the streets. We only come to a residence if we know that an item is there. So people do have to pre-schedule with us, but that is a great benefit. It lessens the amount of items that are left behind or forgotten, increases the likelihood that people will have items out there, makes it more fuel efficient, and ensures that we're giving a higher level of service to your town.
Does the items have to be at curbside or can they be at the front door or back door?
Yes, so we unfortunately cannot do back door. It has to be visible from the road, again, because our drivers have so many stops, but it can be at a front door on our website, specify where they would like to leave their item. And again, we can't go, behind a house, and we cannot go inside a house.
You say back door, but, okay, thank you.
Taylor, how does zero waste days and fundraising, how does that work?
Yeah, so what we can do to additional benefits is if you have a zero waste day, we can help you with that. Again, that's the point on the Mass DEP grant. We can set it up a couple of different ways, having everyone bring it to the transfer station and our guys come and pick it up. And then for fundraising, we really love helping Boy Scout troops, Girl Scout troops, Pop Warner, PTOs, things of that nature. We can help the schools do Battle of the Grades, raise money for prom, having kids, bring in all the clothes to help doing fundraisers. And you can either have them go to those organizations, or if you want to have it funded by the town, we can help do that as well. And we'll pay the 7 cents per pound.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
Does anybody else have any questions?
No, thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor. for your
Thank you
time.
very much.
Great job.
Thank you guys. And if you need any letters of recommendation from town partners, I'm happy to provide those. We have partnerships with over 52 cities and towns across Massachusetts. Right now I'm in Bernardston. This morning I was in Alford. So we service the whole entire state of Massachusetts. We have a fleet of 35 trucks that run 7 days a week. So we're a hometown company, but we've been around for 35 years. So we really know the business. We want to help your residents. We want to help you guys get in compliance, and we want to help you raise some unrestricted funding as well.
Thank you, Taylor. Drive carefully.
Perfect. Thank you guys. If you have any questions or anything, I'm always to email or call away.
Thank you.
Will do.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.
So I will point out that this simple recycling, to end the contract is 30 days. So if we have a 3-week lead time there, and we have to give 30 days there, it would work out just fine. Because for us to collect bags for a week is not a problem, if we've been doing.
So now we need to make a decision between CMRK and Hopsy, or?
Well, first we need to take a vote to reconsider a housing recommendation, because we've already made that.
We've already noted it, yep. Well, that's assuming we would, yeah.
Yeah. You take the motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to reconsider the recycling vendor that we previously recommended.
I would second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. So then we recast our vote between either Hopsy or
Yeah.
CMRK for the textile pickup program.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some discussion before we make a motion.
Well, I'll start this ball rolling. I like this presentation, and I think there were many additives in this program, CMRK, as opposed to the previous program. And quite frankly, questions that were thrown at this, some young lady, she had all the answers off
She's
the top of her
amazing.
head. And I mean, this wasn't scripted.
Mm-mm.
And that was impressive to me, but there are a number of additives here that I think the CMRT, I would rate superior to the previous presentation.
I would agree. And they're paying 7 cents a pound, but only for the stuff in the bins. The other place was like 5 cents a pound for all of it or whatever it was. So the net is gonna be about the same money either way. But I think the benefit of the small items is a big kicker.
Well, if I may, I think the CMRT they only be offering 7 cents and not paying for certain things, but it still takes weight and volume out of our existing waste stream, and that in and of itself is a cost avoidance.
Exactly.
And I think we did have a discussion about the fact that the revenue from this is negligible. It was really getting it out of the waste stream.
Yeah, we make like $20 a month or something like that, or $30 a month. That's really not a lot of revenue. But you save that $250 a ton on hauling it.
Exactly, exactly, and
Mhm.
that's what the real benefit is.
Exactly.
And I also, I'm rolling, I also like the fact that they would create public announcements. They would create things for us to go out to the public in the various medium that we have to go out in, which in terms of marketing, this program makes life for the town, I think, simpler in the sense that you've got a professional presentation put together. All we have to do is figure out how best to inform the public on how best to put it out in the public. I was impressed with that too.
Very impressed.
So one of those other things with those RDP grants I was talking about is we're supposed to quarterly be sending out some kind of announcement on social media or whatever about textiles. And then once a year, I think we're supposed to have a news article run on the newspaper.
So from what I heard today, we partner, and notice she used the word partner many
Yes.
times, with them. She would, or they would provide us that on a monthly basis, which would exceed the requirements right now by DEP.
And if they're working with, clearly, 52 municipalities within the state, all those municipalities are under the same gun that we are.
Mhm.
So it's not like they're reinventing the wheel.
Right,
Right, they write one document in 52 towns.
Cool.
put it in.
yeah, and they know what works, it's been proven, you know, they have enough. Yeah, when we talked to her last week, we were all impressed by her.
Right.
It's amazing, we just stood there with our mouths open.
Yeah.
We talked to her about a good 45 minutes. Amazing.
What are the pros to the other company?
I think they're a professional company. There was more cons after hearing this presentation, I'll say that.
Yes.
More cons, yeah.
Well,
Really?
don't use the word
Yeah.
cons because they are also people that have criminal records, they help give them a leg up, so I don't know if you want to. I'm serious, that was.
That's
They
what he
help
meant.
people
That's what he
who are-
meant.
yeah, so.
Okay, I understand, but when we look at things, we do pros and cons, right?
Right,
yeah. I just-
So,
I want to make it clear that you're not referring to convicts, you're referring to cons.
Um, One thing we addressed, they, and I think we all were in agreement that the 57,000 pounds of clothing was their estimate, the previous, the other contractor, per year. We all said that's way out of line, and much of what they discussed, the other contractor discussed, really revolved around that 57,000 pound estimate.
right,
Okay.
right.
Now, look, if we were starting a program from scratch, that might be the number they get in the first year, but because we've been running for 4 years.
Right.
We've already kind of tapped that vein and, yeah.
Yeah, I think had we heard both at the same time, or before we made a decision, I think it would be an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
But, that's the only company we had on the table at the
Right.
time. But after hearing this company, it seems obvious that they would be a better fit for this community. Even though the revenue stream seems to be lower, I think on the other side, from what they're offering the town, that with the partnership, we're actually net positive.
What was really weird is it was a cold call that came into the office like 3 days after we had our meeting, and they were like, hey, like we already put Help Seat on the agenda for the Board of Health, and it was like, oh, we got another company, yeah, let's see what you gotta say. So it was just strange, the timing worked out well.
Perfect,
To the office.
Yeah, just a call.
That's great.
Well,
Yeah.
I for one have no problem taking a step back.
I don't remember.
And we called her, Michael called her cold turkey that day.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we were, she's got her act together,
Yeah.
and the company sounds like it too.
So would it be appropriate to make a motion?
I think so. I mean, this is further discussion, but it seems like everybody's leaning towards that.
I would just ask the motion to include the number of bids you'd like to see at the transfer station.
Yes. It concerns me that if there's gonna be books dropped off, that it has to be a separate bin, and it'd be 2 clothing and 1 for books.
Well,
I agree. I think three.
so we've been reached out to book companies that'll pay us for the books. So
Right.
we might
Oh,
be
so
able to
not-
a different company for book, so I would leave book bin out of the vote at this point.
Okay.
However, and I'm gonna take this from the book of Taylor. If we're gonna enter into a partnership with her and they offer books, I think we should give them the opportunity to take the books, because they're doing something positive with the books. They're willing to help us with the marketing, which gives us points on our DEP grant opportunities.
I get it.
I say we look at the big picture and not get greedy. That's just my point.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're talking pennies here,
Right.
and with a holistic approach like that, I think we're having a better partnership.
Right.
With them.
And would certainly keeping it out of the system.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the key issue,
Right.
is keeping it out of the system.
Right. The books weigh a lot.
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
We have plenty of it from time at the transfer station.
Good.
Where do you see them come in? Do they come in for trash, for trash or
For books, like, magazines, things like that.
trash?
Yeah.
They put in the trash, really?
There's nowhere else to put it.
Yeah, right.
It's not paper.
Now, do the magazines go in with the books, or no?
They're paper.
It's gotta be hardcover.
I think it's the glue and the art cover that make them not recyclable with the paper.
So paperbacks are recycled?
I know it's the magazines.
I know more about paperback books.
No, I think those are books.
Books, okay.
And the other point that I wanna make, before we move on, is that it seems like they have either acquired or absorbed Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah, that's what it's,
Who have been around for a very long time. And I'm not sure if you know, but they are, the catalyst for some of these secondhand stores that we have in some municipalities. So a lot of the stuff is going back to the community in a positive way. So,
Yeah, I don't think they absorbed them, because Big Brother Big Sister only
Mhm.
takes large items, like beds and bureaus and stuff, and they're only taking the small, so I think it might be a partnership with Big Brother Big Sister.
And they do St. Vincent's also.
I think she said that they,
I'm not sure the language you was said they absorbed it or they partnered with it.
okay.
But, because the Big Brother's always the big stuff.
Right.
They wouldn't come for a blender.
Okay, before we make this motion, I think we should have a discussion about what we want the motion to say. So what is it in terms of the bins? For instance, you brought up, would you want to specify, say, 2 clothing and 1 book bin as a start? And if it grows, great. If it doesn't, they can haul 1 away.
Right.
I mean, 1 point. Okay, I mean, that I think should be included in motion that the Board of Health look at this similar, okay, company that, you know, proviso that 3 bins, 1 book bin. Yes, no?
Well,
Yeah, we're gonna
well,
restart, yeah.
Well, should
What
we
else?
have one recommendation just to recommend them to the Board of Health as a contract with them, and then another one on what they are required, what we would like required from them?
That's fine. My point was that I'd like it to go to the BOS at the same time, because then we don't have a delay. Because I need the BOS to support to put the bids at the transfer station.
Mm-hmm.
Which you
We
would
know we're exempted from the bylaw. I still need your support to put them at the transfer station,
Right.
so.
We talked about it at the last meeting.
Well, we could put-
Brought up.
We would put everything through
Okay.
together, hand in
Yeah.
hand would be 2. But I just think the contract, I mean, just them themselves doing work for us.
Yeah.
And then another one on what we require.
Sure.
That way we could change,
Okay.
we could change the
Well, if we
requirement
rescind
as
it,
it
but
goes
if we want
along,
to get half of it,
you
yeah.
know?
Okay.
So it would be for recommending CMRK for textile and book recycling would be, I'm assuming, like the first motion?
Second,
Okay.
All those in favor?
aye?
And this recommendation goes to the BOH and then goes to the BOS, right?
Mhm.
Okay, great. Rich, when's your next meeting?
17? What was the 17th? Oh,
Yeah, 17th November.
sure it's not the 30th?
Yes, I'm sure.
And your next meeting?
Well, it's this, would be after then. And this wouldn't be until, December, because
We
of,
could make a special meeting too, you know.
Well, we have the 30-day notice, but I
But we have to vote to do that too, for the Board of Health. I think it's Board of Health is the one in the contract with them, so I think the Board of Health has to vote to end the contract with Central Recycling, but I don't know if we have to write through the selectmen.
yeah, I think they both have to be ratified by the selectmen.
so your meeting is the 17th of November?
Our regular meeting, yeah.
Right, and we've already met on the 9th, and we're not meeting, the night before Thanksgiving, so we wouldn't be until December
Could you have a combined meeting?
14th. Yes, so we'll see what happens.
Ooh, could we put this on the agenda for the next combined meeting?
Yeah,
Good,
Why not?
yeah,
That is-
we
that
could,
is
that's a
cool,
good
right?
idea, yeah,
Yeah,
that's November 2nd.
yeah,
Right,
that's perfect.
you could do that.
Look at you.
Yeah, we had you in here for some reason.
Sounds like he wants to be a selectman.
Been there, done that.
Not doing it again.
You have
Not right
kids
away.
now.
Good idea.
Okay,
So put on the agenda for a second.
okay.
Yes.
So
We'll,
to Barbara's point, do we want to talk about the bins? Because I have some discussion about.
Yes.
We can move on to the bins.
So I think, I know the transfer station is where we collect rubbish, I get it, but I think the condition of the transfer station is deplorable. It's completely unsightly. I think we really need to focus on how do we organize the stuff in such a way where people driving by and people living across the street don't have to look at that. So does anyone know how these bins get emptied? Is this a hand thing where they open them up or do they dump into a truck?
I've never seen them empty. But they must have a door on the side.
I'm gonna go assume with the demonstration about to the open.
Okay.
That's only just, I'm gonna go.
Like the side opens, I think, and they haul it out that way.
And,
Maybe it's,
have we determined that you're gonna have pay the $15 fee to get into donate clothing?
I think that's a discussion that we're gonna keep taking.
That hasn't happened
Yes,
yet,
right,
okay.
hasn't happened yet, right. The reason I say that is the overhang, which is a roof line, tends to be a collector of anything and everything when
Right.
it's on in the weather.
Yep.
I would actually like to see the bins under that overhang, so that the bins are protected, they're out of the public's eye, and they take the place of the space that everyone else is using
That's a
to
collectible.
accumulate stuff.
Yep.
The
So,
thing is that the bins fit, they know they're metal poles,
yeah, I don't know,
so that
we
they
have to
would,
figure
that
that
would
out.
not have to get eliminated.
Right.
Just by guessing.
Yeah. We can work that out with Taylor, I'm sure she'll send us dimensions on what they are.
And if they don't have to come up,
Exactly,
Uh,
and they're just
just
like, maybe even like the attendants will like the fact that they're under a roof, unloading them versus out there or somewhere, right? So I think that would eliminate what I'm seeing up there, like this, just accumulation of stuff on this roof. And it would also have the bins in a nice, neat, organized fashion.
Yep.
Um,
it's gonna be difficult to compare us to Rehoboth, because Rehoboth's transfer station is open more. So people are more apt to donate than twice a week with us.
right,
but I think if we send out, like she was saying, postcards and get,
I can hand them out the transfer station too.
yeah, but I mean, they could just mail them out too,
the
and then
town clerk is
everybody.
getting ready to send out something that they do, and we could get it on that too.
Yeah, I think, we get it out there.
Two things, one is if we can't put it under the canopy, I think it should go like behind it, so you couldn't see them from the street, like where you park. When the fire truck does their pump, so I know we can't be in the way of the fire hydrant, but I think, getting them out of sight would make sense. The other thing is, it's further down the agenda, but she brought it up here, the swap shed thing, which we'll get into. If we have a swap shed, we would need a table covered somehow that items we collect on, and then we have to, obviously, somebody's gonna box it up for them to take it. But we get 2 points for having a swap shed on the RDP grant, which should get us about $500 a year. So $500 a year is a pretty good deal, plus the money we're taking from her and everything else, but it's a bigger picture, but I think we need to get the bins and get them in right away. Swap shed can come later.
Thinking of the mattresses again in the trailer. Down at North Country Auctions, those 60 footers, they go, I think I paid $2,200 for a tight one with the side door. And it's up on wheels. That's the only thing though, you gotta boost the mattresses up.
yeah.
That's the only thing, but it's easy for them to, but you can take the wheels off them too and drop them.
You can, but that goes back to, it looks like,
It looks tacky.
it looks.
Well,
Yeah,
it depends where you put it too. I mean, it doesn't have to be up front, it doesn't have to be in view right out there. I mean, let's face it, they've got the brush right there.
so if we ran this like business, which I know is a difficult concept to understand, and we could lease temporarily a Connex box for $150 a month, which is a 40-foot box, which will hold a lot of mattresses. When you roll that into the cost of the disposal, and think about a more long-term plan to buy a box. Boxes last a very long time. And these are boxes that are made for ground mounting. They're structurally, they're rock solid. I like your idea, but even trailers are not, they weather over time. They have wooden side with aluminum
No.
padding,
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
I don't
so.
know.
So we can roll in, if we wanna make the investment for a box and buy it instead of leasing, we can do that down the road, because the leasing is immediate and it's already at the location.
That's right.
Yeah, good.
And then we can say, okay, can we cover the cost of the purchase and what's the payback? You said it quickly, 200 mattresses, right? So-
Well, at 5K
Yeah,
for the trailer and the cost differential of about $25
Right.
from the two contractors.
plus if we own it, you know, we can't do a lease, if we own it, we can paint them.
Yeah.
So we can make them more aesthetically pleasing. I had one at my house, I painted brown, no one even saw it, blended in with the,
Right.
you know, the
This
trees.
is never gonna go away.
Right,
They last for years.
right.
If
So,
you get a good
You know,
member.
and the issue of ground mounting a trailer that you buy, and because you have to place mattresses up, you can build a ramp or steps up to it. You know, I mean, if the cost differential or whatever factor comes into play and says, oh no, we got to put it on the ground, then we don't have to, we can build a ramp up to it instead of trying to manhandle it up there. So,
It's no deal, couple torches, just take the wheels off.
there you go.
So I will throw out there that one of the things I suggested we do a field trip to Berkeley transfer station.
Yes.
Because they're open until 6:30 on Wednesday nights. They have a mattress bin that they got from DEP, and the sign right on it says funded by a grant from DEP or whatever. It's a nice red, brand spanking new, and you can see what they have. They have different bins for loading paper, because they sort. So like right now, our cardboard's getting soaked, and it's horrible for the sale price of cardboard. You can keep it dry, that you get more money for it.
So we could lease until we can discuss the grant.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that sounds good.
But we would have to sign a year lease, correct?
It's a month,
Month to
no,
month,
no,
so-
it's a 3-month initial, so I have to make a 3-month commitment.
Right.
So I make sure.
But you already have
that
that commitment,
we already have that commitment.
so it would
We're
still be
month
this
two,
month,
so, yeah.
Just for clarification, are we moving on from the CMRK, the whole business?
No, we still have to make a
We'll
motion.
start to make a motion on the
Okay.
location
And then
and
the
the
regular
amount.
between mattresses and.
Well, that's how we,
Yeah.
But I think it's relevant because we're talking about the setup of the transfer
Exactly.
station and how it's all gonna work.
exactly, yeah.
If I may, look strategically here too, if this all works out so well, we might consider putting a space building out there too, you know, and everything's undercover.
It's already
This is for
capital
this,
plan.
oh, it is, oh, okay, oh, excellent.
Well, he wouldn't know that, yeah.
It's already in capital planning. Yes.
Great, we can try.
So the theory is,
That's that dream.
the theory is with one building, inside that building, we could store light bulbs, laptops,
Yeah.
batteries, paint, whatever we wanted to put in there, but it would all be one space. We have a better space for the transfer station attendant.
Yeah.
Capital planning will work, the library takes
Okay.
precedent.
Oh, sure, yeah, no problem, I was gonna worry, you know, drive in here. Drive out there.
Yep.
Perfect.
But that would solve like 10 problems, but we gotta get past like certain.
Oh, absolutely, no question.
You gotta put Band-Aids on first.
So based on the pounds that you shared with Taylor, she said 2 bins, right?
Right.
So I don't think we need to overthink it, right? But we do wanna add a book bin.
I think we need to,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I like that idea.
So
So I make a motion that, provided it's an affirmative for a contract with, what's the name of them?
but we already did that one.
Okay.
No, provided that it's an affirmative to enter into contract, that we place 2 textile bins and 1 book bin provided by the contractor, contractee, and to be located at the transfer station.
Second. Second.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Very
So
good.
now we're gonna go back up to the, we just got the app match just going program. So,
Our favorite.
So where we were at was between the two. So Peter Borges just worked with ACE, and he says they're very good to deal with. I've done some talking to other health agents in other departments in other towns, and ACE's reputation is a little bit better than Hand Up. Now, Hand Up's only been around for about a year, not even, so they're just starting up. So I think they're having some growing pains right now, and ACE has been around a little longer. So Based on Peter Boyd's recommendation, I would lean toward Ace. They were the ones that said, you know, get your own trailer, and they were the cheaper one of the two.
They were about $20.
It was 50, I think it was.
How much?
13.
Oh, okay.
So I was the one connected originally with ACE, not knowing any of that. The reason I connected with them is they were local, they're in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. I was impressed with the discussion over the phone that I had with them. I had no idea what it cost to get rid of the mattress. So when they came back to me with $13.50, I thought that was an eye opener. So that's what initiated the discussion. Then she sent over a contract with more details. That's when I quickly realized that we need to do something other than what we're doing, throwing them out in the middle of the parking lot. And then Todd took that a step further and vetted other companies. So, and then you spoke with Ace yourself, didn't you? No.
I talked to Peter Boyd.
Okay. So yeah, so there's a couple town officials that have done their homework with Ace.
Give them a thumbs up.
What would be the contract term, the contract length?
It was I think it was 1 year, they were annual, or maybe it was 2.
I don't think I have that with me. Can you look in your email? And it wasn't that long of a contract.
Let me try.
Jimmy, was that for any size mattresses?
Yes.
So when we get to it, I would like to charge a different amount based on the size because it takes up a different amount of space in the trailer.
Right. Well, I would propose that if we have good feelings about Ace, and their contract is, let's say, 1 year contract, let's try them for a year. And if we like their services, we could perhaps enter into discussion for a 2 or 3 year contract. I'm just saying, they may accept it, they may not.
Sure.
And if we don't like it at the end of a year or the end of 6 months and we're not happy
Right, or
with it,
end
we
up
can
in
start
better.
looking.
Yeah,
You
right,
know?
exactly.
So,
There is no contract commitment. There's a 90-day end clause
okay,
per month.
okay.
And just for clarification, did you want to go over the specifics for both, Todd? Do you have the other one? I don't have the other one.
What was the other one? Oh, no, hand up. It did.
Now, what about box springs?
They're the same as the mattress.
Okay.
And what this ACE company does, just so you know, because I asked what they do with them, they actually break them apart.
Right.
They remove the wood, the metal, and the fabric, and they recycle all of the components individually.
Yeah, $13.50.
$13.50, and then there's a pickup fee of $3.75.
Is it $13.50 regardless of the size?
Yes,
Okay.
per piece. It
Yeah.
specifies per piece.
No, $3.75. I'm sorry, for what amount? Is that $3.75 per?
$375 to pick up a load of mattresses,
And do they specify the load, how many load?
as large as a 50-foot container.
Oh, that's
It's the same
good,
price.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So I found hand up. They are $21.50 per mattress. They charge $300 each time they haul the trailer. And they charge $210 a month for 40-foot enclosed waterproof container. So again, that was the math that I did. It came up to about $49 a mattress based on what we would do, roughly. A lot of flexibility in that number, but Ace would be far cheaper than that, I think.
Right.
If once we buy the trailer,
Right.
Yeah, because they're charging us for rent anyway, for leasing it, whatever.
and the transportation costs too, so.
So transportation cost was cheaper, right? $75 cheaper.
What was their transportation cost?
$3.75 Ace.
Oh, so Ace is high.
Right.
Yes, but that's a 40-foot
$75.
That's
This is 45.
compared to the 50-footer.
Right, so that's probably the difference, the 50-footer, there's more mattresses, so.
Here again, about 6 mattresses is the difference in, you know.
Yeah. How big is the trailer we have? Is it 50?
40-foot.
40?
It's a 40.
So they're telling me that in a 20-foot sea container, we can fit between 25 and 40 mattresses.
Yeah.
We have a 40-foot, so we should be able to fit between 50 and 80.
Peter said 50.
So if you wanted to do the math and figure out what a load will cost, it would be 50
What number do you want to use? 50?
Use 50, yes, please.
That's what spreadsheets are for.
You have to do math.
The problem is we don't know exactly how many mattresses we do in a year, but.
Right.
No, but we can figure out what a load will cost us, right?
I don't rely on my brain anymore because it's
No.
over 70 years old. It just doesn't work well.
Does anybody know what Berkeley's charging, or Rehoboth, or any of those?
For the mattresses we had to have.
Sean knows.
Presentation that.
Sean does.
No, I wasn't here.
Oh, okay.
I was busy in the hospital.
Rehoboth was like 250.
Yeah, it was
It was outrageous.
170, 200.
Was it? Yeah.
It was pretty high, yeah.
Wow.
That's just for that. And that's not including the $10 punch card, well, not whatever, the 10 punches you have to get.
Oh my gosh.
Sure knows.
Wow.
The, how much Rehoboth was charged, like 170, 180?
Yeah, it was a crazy amount of money. If you,
Wow.
I thought it was over
I
200.
think
Maybe we can make money
it's
that way.
on
then.
the spreadsheet of most, it should be on the spreadsheet. So if you got, Mr. Mullins' email, the spreadsheets today that the old one plus the new one I did any of you get that?
Yeah, I think we have it.
It's in there, and it's crazy, it's a couple
What
hundred
did
bucks.
somebody mention to me, they've been seeing a lot of mattresses over
50
in Rehoboth?
mattresses,
That's why.
2050 plus.
We talked about that.
So maybe we should start sending postcards to Rehoboth,
Rehoboth comes, well, that was the whole idea.
because if we can make
Come
money
here,
here,
it's cheaper and.
Right.
$21 a mattress.
Huh?
Sorry. I think $21 a mattress, take 375 divided by 50, add 1350 to it.
Rehoboth
It'll
was,
come out to like 21.
yeah, Rehoboth was 170.
Yeah, is it 170?
170.
Yeah.
This is,
wow.
Yeah, because it's the way they do the punch card system and how much they charge per punch and then how many punches it takes to drop off certain items.
Then Berkeley is 20.
Mhm.
Berkeley's only 20?
So after doing the math, ACE is about $20 per unit mattress.
at 50 mattresses, at $13.50 a mattress, plus the pickup cost, would be $1,050 per pickup of 50 mattresses. If you divide that by 50, it's $21 a mattress. End up, same criteria, it's $1,375, which puts them at about $27.50, or the delta is again about $6.50 a mattress.
Is the rental of the unit from Heads Up or whatever they are mandatory?
That's not calculated.
Right.
I don't know if it was.
Right. Because that would be a
That's right.
good
Well,
cost.
It's another
Yeah,
matter too.
right, that was somewhere out of the ballpark, if so.
Well, the rental, well, again, you can't quantify how many months you're gonna have to go
Right.
before you have a pickup.
Right, so let's say
Oh,
you
yeah.
did tell us though, it's about 200 mattresses a year, didn't you?
That was just like a rough estimate.
Is that, I won't put you in jail or anything, but is that a good number? or-
Probably a good number.
Okay, all right. So we can, so it's 50 per quarter then,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So that's gonna cost us to house $450, $150 a month.
Right.
So what's that added to the cost?
For whom?
For this,
Yeah.
it's gonna cost us $450 to house them at $150 a whack, if we get rid of 50
It's
a
like
quarter.
$9 more.
Yeah,
So-
$9 more.
So we're at cost $30 a mattress.
Right, with these.
With ACE. And more, we know more for the other one.
Right.
How can Berkeley do it so cheap?
Well, they're losing money there.
The same as us, we're charging
Wow.
15.
Yeah, you're right.
They have it.
When
Duh.
we go there, we go ahead.
Now, look, I worked in Berkeley, they're just losing money.
So they just put it into a spreadsheet, so in case we decide to change the number of mattresses per year or whatever the number, like size trailer, that I'm coming up with, including a rental fee of $150 a month and $210 a month for hand up. It's $28 for ACE and $38 for hand up.
Okay.
If we're gonna compare apples to
All
apples.
right, so
Yeah,
this is good though, because we can make some decisions based off this.
Yeah.
exactly.
And we can get this going right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, ACE,
We have to like ACE.
Yeah.
Right?
there's no choice.
Well, we got
Which is good.
positive feedback too, so.
Right.
Which is good.
The price is better, the reputation's pretty good, so.
Yeah, that's a big part. Yeah, bad reputation, good prices, not too good.
Right.
So before we put any motions on the floor, I'm gonna have a container available as quick as 10 days on our property. Would the Board of Health be able to absorb that monthly cost as we stand now? Because selectmen can no longer pay for that.
Yes. John will take a pay cut.
I'll sacrifice.
Yeah, we gotta stop giving them raises.
$5 a mattress and now you cover some of your soft costs.
No, we're not charging one for one, we're gonna get into the discussion about cost.
But that's one of the reasons we need to go up with the cost, that's why I started this whole thing.
Exactly.
No, we have to improve soft costs, we have to start having that mindset.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Well, we should discuss the whole package first.
No package, that's what I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why this needs to be discussed further is we're basing this number off, the fact that we're gonna house these things for 1 quarter.
Probably.
But if John's wrong, and no fault of yours, if you're wrong and we're only doing 100 mattresses a year, then that price goes up.
Oh, I know we're not doing that, because we usually take in about 75 in bulkhead and pick up each alone.
Okay, so we're definitely exceeding the 100. Okay. All right, and you said you had how many dropped off in the last?
It would really vary, there's some days it can be 5 or 6, some days sometimes it can be none, it's just so hard to keep.
I looked at today, how
There's at least-
long did it take to make that one?
2 weeks maybe?
Yeah, Peter was tracking it because he was hauling them, and it was like something like 28 every time he was hauling or whatever, and it was like every 6 weeks or something, so we are over 200.
So the 200 numbers good.
We're probably closer to 3.
Well, good, the more the cost.
So that's the thing, I can
Not
just
the
change.
number per mattress.
Per mattress,
Yeah,
which
Not
means
the
if our,
total.
no, but if our fixed cost charge is fixed and we lower our disposal cost, we have a net gain.
Mhm.
So I just put in 300 per year, and it changes to 27 for Ace and
Right.
36 for Hand Up.
Right. Okay, so if we're comfortable with that cost, then I think we should delve into the discussion about what the rate should be. Because I believe the selectmen and the Board of Health voted not to increase the mattress cost for disposal, right?
No, it never made our agenda.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, because we never recommended it to the selectmen.
No, maybe before they did. I think last year somebody told me the year before.
But we need to recommend Ace first, because that's like separate, and then,
We do, but my point here is that we keep running at a loss. If we're gonna stop the bleeding and we're gonna tackle
Yeah.
the mattress program, let's fix the price per mattress. We can deal with the rest of the stuff as we go along, but let's deal with this.
That's right out in front of us now, as I understand it, is the mattress issue.
Because that's part of the November legislation, isn't it?
November 1st.
Yeah.
Did you ever go up to $90? But
No.
No, we never did.
That's my point, they never made the change. Still at 15, right?
Yeah.
So we're still at a net loss of 50%.
And then here's my,
Yeah, but right now, we're, our cost for disposing of mattresses is $15 covers it right now. We're covering, the $15 covers the price of disposal right now.
Not November 1st.
It's not November 1st.
Which is just.
I know, I'm just saying, right now, we're still okay.
Okay.
on to the next topic.
I'm sorry.
Are we going on to the next topic?
No, I think we're gonna make a motion, aren't we?
Right. What kind of price do we wanna see?
I think that was the discussion, we're gonna make a motion.
Okay.
What's everybody's feeling? We really don't know what soft costs are, but we know it has to be more than $30.
So I think he may know some better part of that.
I would, just based on the research I've done, I don't think 35 is an unreasonable number, because now you're covering your 30 plus the 5 to cover whatever soft costs there are until you get into the program and have had enough disposals to really revisit that in, say, 6 months from now or 8 months from now to say, hey, here's what it's really costing us, here's what the projection is. At least you know you can cover it. It's not outrageous. It's falling in line with a lot of other similar communities to us around the state and around the area. You know, and I think people are gonna look at it and think that, yeah, they gotta pay it, but it's still not, like if you go somewhere else and you're charging, some places are charging $50 and $60 a mattress, you go to a real with it's, you know, 100 and change, so.
I agree. I think, initially here, we need to run a balance between making it cost effective or covering the costs and what are people willing to pay? Because if this goes too high in mattresses, you're gonna end up on the side of the road, Tom and Ferry's gonna pick them up. So,
Sorry.
no, so based upon the discussions, I would also suggest that when this thing gets quantified in front of the Board of Health or the Selectmen, and these prices are changed, perhaps something in online or something to tell people to market it, say, look, as a result of state legislation, we are now charging this because this is what it costs us, and we're in a 6-month data collection cycle to see what the soft costs are, et cetera. But right now, this is what it costs you because based upon state legislation, this is what it costs us to dispose of it, you know? And that there's gotta be a marketing piece in here, but also we capture those soft costs too. It may go up, may go down, may go up.
Well, to your point earlier, were we looking to make a profit on this?
I'd like to be slightly green overall on the
Yeah.
transfer station.
So it's $40 out of the.
I don't think it
possibility?
is, I don't think it is. I'm looking at it as if you go to McDonald's with 3 or 4 people in the car right now, you're gonna spend over $30.
Oh, yeah.
So is it really out of the question to have somebody spend 40 to get rid of their mattress?
Well, I think we need to differentiate between king size and a crib mattress.
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
because people are gonna say, wait a minute, this crib mattress is 6 king-size mattresses. I think, not to make it too complex, but I think you need to differentiate, for the sake of argument, between a king, a queen, and then maybe one price, and then, you know, anything a double or whatever, because I would come in arguing, if I was throwing away a double mattress, saying, look, why? This guy that just threw a king, I mean, that's my thinking, I'm maybe totally off base.
So can we keep like the double thing like 15?
No, it's costing us
No.
35.
Yeah,
Because it's
Like
right,
different tiers.
it's right across the board, 35 though, for everything, right? No matter the size.
Yeah, well, it's just over 30. 35 is soft
What's
cost.
the soft cost?
So-
If, does ACE consider, they don't, when
No.
it's 50 mattresses regardless of
I'll
the
tell you the
size.
nomenclature they used, they were very,
well, while he's looking that up, if the ACE, say our
call it
contract,
a
or whatever
piece.
says,
they call it a
it's
piece.
this much money per piece, that can be part of the marketing, say, look, people that dispose of it, that we have disposed of it, it doesn't matter to them what size it is, this is what they charge us. And, you know, back to your point, we wouldn't have to have it tiered, because it doesn't matter what size, this is what we're looking at.
Right.
But somehow that's gotta be articulated,
Right.
otherwise you're gonna have an argument, I think, every time.
He's probably gonna have an argument anyway, if somebody comes in and says, no, that's not a queen, that's a full. You know, we want it cheaper, you know how they can be.
Well, I wasn't aware that the language in there said it was per
Yeah,
piece,
yeah.
right, so that
So-
sort of changes everything.
Yeah.
For us to make a difference, it's not going to benefit us.
No, I feel bad for the,
Those who have to throw away a crib mattress.
I know.
Yeah,
I
but
thought I slept on my twin till I was 20.
but they're only charging us $13.50 per piece.
Right now,
The rest of the soft costs were based on the fact that we could fit 50
right,
mattresses in one 40-foot trailer. You can fit 6 cribs to 1 king, so if you want to fill it with cribs, you can fit 300 in there.
Yeah, but that's market born, we don't know what's
No,
coming in.
no, what I'm saying is, it's $13.50 is the per piece cost. So I do agree that I think a crib mattress should not be the same price as a king mattress for disposal.
Yeah, looking at it that way.
how many mattresses do we get?
You're splitting
Not
hairs.
that many.
Not that many.
Well, I mean, just cribs,
And there's
because you
never
know a
box
crib is a
springs with, I
crib.
mean, yeah,
But
but there's never
going
box springs with
further.
crib.
Maybe a twin, but from everything up, it would be a different size, a different joint. Because otherwise, he's gonna stand there and make a decision.
Take a tape measure to,
I
something that
know.
somebody wants to argue
I mean, a
about.
twin obviously is a twin.
Right,
A crib is obviously a crib. But then from lump the rest of them together.
Full size, some opening.
Yeah,
Can I just make a suggestion?
sure.
Maybe for the time limit on it, 6 months to a year, you charge one price for whatever comes through the door, and in that time, you need to collect data. Not you, he is gonna have to collect data by writing down how many of each size comes in, and then at the end of that time, you can revisit, and then if you feel, hey, listen, we're getting a lot of queen size mattresses, yeah, we need to go to a tiered pricing system,
Okay,
then you can adjust from
I
that
took a
point.
pretty good picture. I'm seeing at least 4 twin-size mattresses in this pile, and that's only what I can see. So that tells me that there's a pretty even ratio, twins to larger mattresses. Because that's much more than I would expect it to see.
Well, again, the only reason I threw that out there is, you know,
Put a
there's a
decision,
man in the middle, right there. And,
I know.
But I agree, I mean, collect the numbers and then
Yeah.
see what the numbers tell you. The numbers may say continue on, or they may
And we'll also
say,
know how many were fitting in a trailer.
Correct.
yes, exactly.
And I don't think 40 is an unreasonable number, I mean, I shot 35, the difference from 35 to 40 is $5, it's not that
Mhm.
I'm only one person.
I like 40, I think it's an amount that people are gonna be willing to pay,
Yeah,
because, and especially if, we- like you said, explain the cost to people. So if this is what it's costing the town to get rid of this mattress, so charging you $40 is, well, we can make that cost equal $40 on print.
Yeah.
And say, look, we're charging you what it's gonna cost us, we're not asking,
No,
to,
I agree. Totally agree.
I agree. I
Just
just,
as long as we market it well.
I still think crib is the only one that should be differentiated, and I think that one should be less.
absolutely.
Not, I mean, twin, queen, king, right, they're all about the same, and John's gonna figure out, but he can, I'm assuming you can tell the difference between a crib mattress and any other mattress.
Those are probably getting rolled up in the trash bag.
That probably.
Some of them are pretty heavy.
yeah.
But-
Those babies need comfort, you know.
But yeah, 40 works for me, because it definitely covers our costs, it's higher than it was, and after a few months, we can change it if we need to. But people, if we went to $100 right now, I think people would freak out.
Right.
But you go to 40, everybody gets it.
Side of the road, yeah, I mean, a dumpster.
You're also, as we discussed a couple of meetings ago, you're also getting seed money to put towards the purchase of a standalone container and either off the rental and stuff too, so you also have to probably think about that going forward.
So when does the price take into effect? Is it immediate, is it when they have their joint meeting, or is it?
Just like gas, as soon as the board of selectmen wrote it,
Yeah.
that's when it goes into effect.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that new container gets shifted to the other area and the selectmen, that's when you charge it.
So then when are we handing out the stickers, is it November or is it January?
The stickers go into effect January 1st, we usually start selling them in mid-November. But the sticker is the sticker, the mattress price would be whenever, like right now it could change.
Right.
So the sticker's the only thing that would matter when people start buying them.
I'm thinking that this is gonna be on the same night that we have our joint meeting, so
Oh,
we get this
absolutely.
all clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
November 2nd.
Do it and push it back.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Good catch.
Actually, they say as November 1st, they chip up the prices, so
Right,
it
which
works,
is reality,
coordinates.
that's what happens.
it coordinates, it's not like all of a sudden we thought of it.
So 40 for mattress.
So I'll make a motion that we recommend to the Board of Health and Board of Selectmen to contract with Ace Mattress Disposal, and that we change the price per mattress to $40.
Wait,
And-
oh, again, you wanna make one motion or two?
Okay,
Right.
I'll stop at Ace, I'll stop at.
Base
Combination.
I second. Ace.
All those in favor?
I'll make a motion to propose the increase in price of mattress disposal to $40, and that the Board of Selectmen authorize me to transfer the responsibility of the existing rented 40-foot container to the Board of Health for mattress storage.
Okay. And are we going, just because it's still discussion, are we going to charge a separate mattress fee for cribs right now?
That can be That's my
I
motion.
can't see charging $40 for a crib mattress. I think it just seems,
Well, now about 15, what's the cost on 17 you said?
13.50.
13.50, but that's just for the piece, not for the storage and the rest of it. I'm sorry, I've been writing down the motions, because I wanna make sure they're correct and they're still watching. But it's to increase the money to $40 and
To ask the board of selectmen to transfer the responsibility of the rented 40-foot container from the board of selectmen to the board of health for mattress storage.
I have a question, I will second, but I have a question. Does that also include the box springs you said?
That's what I was gonna ask.
That's per piece.
Okay,
Box spring and the mattress comes in, it's $80.
right, so I would, could you amend it to say
Friendly amendment.
mattresses and box springs?
Friendly amendment, yes, mattress and box spring.
Second.
All in favor?
what are you gonna do about cribs?
And that's where I was having this thing.
Only
Because in that motion.
I don't have an opinion either way.
Yeah.
I think it should all be the same, but I understand the concerns and I understand the comments that have been raised. I think it should be the same, that's my opinion.
well, we can leave his motion, you can make a motion after it.
Okay,
You can make a,
Or you could amend it.
you can ask me for a friendly amendment.
Yes, only because if you make the motion as it stands, and then you go and make another motion for a different price for a crib mattress, now you've got two binding guidelines that are now fighting each other. So which one dictates? So you either need to embed an exclusion for crib mattresses and then make another motion for a crib mattress price, or you just keep them all the same. Just so y'all don't get in a bind, that's all, you know what I mean?
but if we're charging mattresses, they have to dispose of it, it just seems like,
It's now $15, that's for
well,
sure.
it's not 15.
I would say 20 is where I would go with it, because that's half of a regular mattress.
Yep.
But it still covers our cost, so it's not a loss, but they said we get so few of them, and they don't usually have box springs with them, it's usually just the mattress.
It covers the cost of the disposal, it does not cover the cost. We've already figured out the cost. It covers the cost of disposal. It doesn't cover the cost of the housing, transportation. It doesn't cover all costs.
Right, okay.
Jim, I agree with you, however, on your points about the housing, et cetera, however, I have to disagree with you on public perception. Okay. And I think we need to differentiate between all mattresses and box springs and, child's mattresses. I think because, quite honestly, I think on social media, people will light a fire on social media. We all overlook this. I think we really need to, and it should, we can collect data over 6 months and see, what that data tells us. But I think to say, my crib mattress is $40, if I throw this away, that's $40, I personally would have a problem with that, okay? And we, while it's not gonna cover all the costs, we're moving in the right direction. And I think the data will tell us if we did a good thing, if we did a horrible thing, we can fix the horrible thing. But I really, public perception, I think, plays into this too.
Right. If they look at it as we're trying to make money off of disposing the mattresses, there'll be a revolt.
Well, we won't be happy.
We're still trying that.
And again, the price,
Just a crib mattress.
We don't get many.
Right, what do you get, a couple of years?
Keep it at 15.
well, and remember, the price we came up with at $28, that was per mattress. So if you assume there's two to a twin, then that extra $14 becomes an extra $7 for
Right.
half of a mattress if you can fit
You
two of them in the
fit
same
more in.
space in the trailer.
Right.
So that's why I think the $20 would cover it if it's half of a regular mattress.
I would agree with 20.
I think 20, I
like
think
20.
20 is a good solid price.
You like 20?
Friendly amendment.
Yeah.
I will make my friendly guy. I recommend that we amend the motion to say $20 per crib mattress and $40 for all other types of mattresses.
Sounds good.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Any seconds out there?
Oh, second.
All those in favor?
I,
You get that motion to?
Yeah, who seconded it?
I did.
So on to section D.
Oh.
Review, discuss, act 2023 transfer station fees. So everyone should have a current, list of 2020 rates. Now, we can either go each individually or like net.
2020, 2022.
2022.
How much money comes out of appropriated funds to cover the cost of the transfer station? I mean, clearly we're talking funds here, but what's the differential between what it costs to run it and what you're collecting?
40,000 jumps into my head.
Is that what was in there?
So that was a $5,500 price difference between cost of the transfer station and what was being brought in.
I don't think that included some of the costs like electric and the highway department.
It didn't, no, they were, yeah, if I remember that meeting, what was being brought in for revenue, what was being expended, but we had discussed that, that didn't take into account soft costs, electricity, manpower, all sorts of other things. So we assumed that that difference was much greater than the gap trying to be covered at that point.
So 40K per year?
That's my guesstimate.
That was the most recent year, but it has gone up and down.
Yeah, that'd be about 3,300 a month.
Right.
Yeah, because don't forget the highway department goes there frequently.
Yeah.
To crush items,
Mhm.
tons of the containers.
Plow snow.
Yeah, plow snow, load metal into the metal bin. They spend a fair amount of time with that.
And they just had the grinder, did the grinder go yet? Not yet.
It hasn't been there.
Okay, so I'm looking in terms of percentage. So how much money, how much revenue is there generated by the transfer station versus the overall costs of operating the transfer station?
I'll have that information.
I did.
That's why I don't think this is gonna get done tonight, but we can start.
Well, well,
No, I'm trying to think, I had it all. I think it was on a flash drive that I left in the other office, but I don't have access to my server here to just pull everything up. And it's been going at this for a
Well,
while. So-
the reason I ask that is, I think you could consider, I think there are two pathways, just my opinion. One is that, look at what that number is in terms of a percentage of those appropriate funds in terms of a percentage of revenues collected, and just whatever that percentage is not a percentage on each one of these costs. Or, you go back and try and itemize how many dishwashers come in, how many, which I think would be very difficult.
So here was my take on this, and I was gonna say before the meeting, but I'll lay it out now. I think we're trying to do a lot of things here. And I don't think everything can be done in the short amount of time that we've given ourselves to do it. I would like to see things quantified, just as you say. The only way that's gonna happen is if we do a POS, which we're voting for at next
Right.
town meeting, which is
Correct.
next month,
Yeah.
okay? So although I think this needs to be adjusted,
Amount of POS is.
Sam?
47, okay.
so that's gonna track exactly what you're looking for. In order for us to come up with a number that makes sense and covers our cost, I think we don't have enough data yet, except for the revenues and costs that are captured in the current budget, which isn't a true indication of what our costs are. So I think tweaking this might be appropriate now, but I don't think we're gonna be able to scrutinize this to the point where we are right on
Right.
until we have that data. Which I think means this is gonna be kicked off for the next fiscal year. So the question before you then is if everyone agrees with that mindset, do we touch this at all right now? And if we do, what do we do?
Yes, I think we have to touch it right now.
I think with the larger things, now, do we junk these? Do we get money back on them? Like the refrigerators and the,
So the metal, we do get money back,
and it was high, but now it's low
but
again.
we still have a trailer, we have to lift everything in with the back door and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it costs more
And
for
the price
the
of the
bigger
metal
items.
goes up and down, yes.
And it costs more to handle the big items than, say, as a DVD player, as a computer monitor, computer tower,
Well,
those
Yeah,
laptop.
we don't necessarily know the electronics costs, because we are just collecting them right now, we haven't really gotten rid of them yet, so we're still not sure of that. What I have seen in talking with John about this is, number one, I think the sectional couch takes up a lot of space, and that number needs to go up, because right now it's only $5 more than a regular couch or a sofa. And what's the other one? Hold on in here. Obviously, we talked about mattresses. The metal, I would wanna leave where it is. The television, I think that needs to be dependent on a size, or whether it's a tabletop or a console TV, because it's by pound that we pay to dispose. So I think that needs to be one, and then the trailer fees are one.
Yeah,
Because so many people come in with trailer after trailer, and it's, it would be cheaper for some of these people, it's cheaper for them to bring it to us than to get a dumpster.
And then
Oh, yeah.
adding on to the trailer thing, so it doesn't happen often, but some residents do bring in dump trailers sometimes, and
back to, I'm sorry.
do we make a different like tier for dump trailers or under a certain length? Considering you can probably hold more line than a regular flatbed trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Point back to Jim's point, but I think you need to get a feeling for these items up here and per item disposal. However, I think the easy target right now is those trailers. You're addressing, I think that's the easy target, including those dump trailers, which is, I've seen some of those and like, they take up half the dumpster.
Yeah, they're
it's
big.
just a lot.
So does it
Exactly.
make sense, because we've been on a roll tonight, to pick out a few items that we know are problems?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We know we're not gonna close the gap because we need more information before we do that. But at least, like you said before, gets us going in the right direction.
And that's just, I'm sorry,
No, I'm sorry.
is months away.
Yeah, once it's appropriated, then we go vendors and
Right.
it's set up, and exactly, that's what I'm saying, this won't be
Probably won't be until the spring
Right,
that we
exactly,
see it, so we won't have any tracking.
right, but in the meantime, we have the attendant here, we have the health agent here, and we've got great minds in the room, so can we just dissect this very strategically?
Sure, go with what Todd said, let's take the.
Yeah, just one more bit of information,
Yeah.
you asked about the fees, I did find from the last meeting, I only have the one copy. Generally, in a year, it's costing us somewhere between 55 and 61,000, last year was 61,000, or this current year, I guess it ran, but anyhow, around 60,000. And our revenue is somewhere around 55,000. That's only hard cost analysis.
That's tipping fees versus revenue.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause you have the cardboard, bulky tires, electronic waste, salary.
That does that include John's salary?
That does include, it doesn't include the raise he just got,
Okay,
or if we want another attendant or any of that stuff. But right now, we're close, so if we can close a little bit of the gap, at least we'll be breaking even until we know where we need to go.
well, we're not breaking even, because there are a lot of costs that are not in.
I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I'm saying is with some tweaking, we're not very far off from at least covering our hard costs,
Okay.
so.
How many trailers?
It varies.
You mean how many times he hauls out of there?
No, I mean, in
No.
terms of the trailer
Oh,
fees, I mean, like,
Residents,
just,
Oh, God, I would say it's at least half your Saturday is
Yeah.
trailers.
really.
I mean, I can go get all the slips, so I can have that ready next time, but it's probably half
Have
the
you
slips.
ever seen the slips that I handed on Saturdays?
Mm-hmm.
Good three inches thick at least?
I'd rather watch paint dry.
one of the things that, to go off on a quick tangent, did we have a student or something that was gonna come in and be part of this data collection as a
That's
project?
Mr.
Oh, okay,
That's me, it's part of my master's program.
okay. I mean, would that, I think that would be beneficial
to know how many trailers are coming in.
We're not tracking that though. He's not tracking it. So we just have we have paper slips and you could go through and count on the paper slips
Do you want me to do that on Monday morning?
if you'd like to.
I need a little chop. Quick. It's better than data entry. They had me do
Well,
that
it's
one
safe
time.
to say you have a trailer that comes in every time you're open, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and probably safe to say there's more than one? Okay,
Well, it's at least 25%.
okay, so,
Well, there's your soft target.
right, exactly. That, and you can probably isolate one or two of these items, like for instance, based on what Todd just said, with a sectional couch, my opinion should be double what a couch is, because a sectional is about twice the size of a couch, so
Oh,
that should
yeah.
go to 30. Is there anything else in there? Are we doing okay
You
with the
mentioned
tires?
the television, and then I have a question mark, $5 per tire? This seems awfully low.
Yeah.
That's
what-
car
Is
tire,
it costing us $5 per tire?
It's costing us 3.25 to get rid of them.
Okay.
So that probably covers some of the soft costs. The tractor tires though, at 15, that price fluctuates. It might cost us 40 to get rid of it, and it might cost us 10, depending on whether they need them or not. So if they say it's $40 right now because we don't need them, we say don't take them, because we usually get a few of those. And then when the price comes down, then we have them taken. So those costs are generally covering it.
So the tires are all set, or fairly good?
Again, it's $3.25 and we're charging $5.
Yeah.
So on like the last meeting I was here, Mr. Mullen had asked me to do a more narrow Excel spreadsheet, because the first one I did, there were 10 communities, including Dayton. So it was us, and then who we were surrounded by, close in terms of overall operating budgets, town population, and similar programs. So I did go back, and there is an updated spreadsheet with, it's us, the town of Sterling, and the town of Lancaster. And I pulled those two towns because they were listed on the town's financial analysis, I think they had done by the IRS. Those were two of our near peer towns in terms of demographics. And there were also two towns in the bigger one that I had gone out and done on my own, so I figured they were probably a really good target to hit. And then when I looked at, population and stuff, it was close. So Sterling has been great. Lancaster is a little is a little challenging, we'll call it, to get information from. I am getting it, it's just very slow. It is coming, it's very, very slow to communicate with them. But when it comes to tires, outside of tractor tires, if you look on the newest spreadsheet, which you guys should have, if not, we can get it. We can get that to you. The passenger car tires, we are about $15 off the mark, and the same thing with like truck tires. We are $15 below.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So they're charging those communities $20 a car tire?
Well, so here's where the difference comes in though. So if you look at the spreadsheet, I don't know if we would up $15, but the town of Lancaster charges $3 for each of those sizes, whereas the town of Sterling is charging $37. So it's quite a disparity, but it'll at least give you an idea, because yes, it needs to go up, but maybe get you closer to a better number that maybe, is fair if you guys.
So I
do
can
it.
tell you that I had a dumpster at one of my properties, and someone threw 2 tires in it, and when it was tipped, I got a bill from them
Right.
for $20 each tire.
Yeah.
So in addition to what my dumpster cost was.
That's why that happened to me.
So that's about the rate right now, is $20 out.
That's why the $5 just seems so low.
And I know you're saying it's $3.50, but if we keep having that mindset of cover our costs, then we're never going to close the gap on these budget issues that we're having. We need to bring our local receipts up in order to help.
And $80 for
Well, do you think we should go up like
tires that cost $800-900 to replace on a car today is.
you think we should go up like $5 on each one?
Well, again, that's just it. I don't think they all need to go up on this list, but, right, are we gonna do the whole list, or are we just gonna do a few?
No, but we're talking about them now, and we know that towns typical to us are higher, so I mean,
Barbara, you're saying 10 for a car tire,
10, 15, and
for a
20.
truck? Yeah. I don't think that's out of the question.
Either way.
And then we already agreed that a sectional will be 30, right?
Yeah.
We already talked on mattresses.
Just a housekeeping, can you put box spring and mattresses in the same line and not have them separate? Please.
We'll start off with that.
Here, mattress slash box spring, how's
He
that?
doesn't know his alphabet yet.
Then we're about flipping the couch, that should.
No,
That would stay 15.
And sectional sofa.
Was
I did
30.
my couches in sectional.
Yeah, but it's just that it's twice as big. I mean, a regular couch
so what,
should
okay,
probably be 20.
hold on, yeah, what do we do with the couch? What happens to it? So it takes up a large space.
does.
Yeah.
And when you consider we pay to haul that dumpster away, because it's so light in volume, because it's a lot of empty space, it's very costly to have those in the
Yeah,
dumpster.
because it's
They're paying for air.
It's high transportation
Yes.
costs. So you're saying that we move to 20
Right.
and sectional would go to what, 35? Really, double?
It's generally twice as much material,
Again,
right?
for me to get rid of a couch that I paid $4,000 for, it cost me $40 to get rid of it, I don't see that's a big deal.
Mhm.
I'm not a Rockefeller, I'm just saying, I'm thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
So you don't say 20 and 40, the only thing I will throw in there is I think we should add in ottoman, because they all, it's like, what is it? And I think that should be 10 for an ottoman, but if you separate it as a separate item.
Love seat, recliner, ottoman, no?
We could add it in there, I just wanna say I wanna add it as a separate item.
Is love seat an appropriate word these days?
Yeah, I think it's still.
Only Jim.
Just checking.
Okay, so we have love seat, recliner, ottoman slash ottoman, the three of them. And they go for what, 20 you said?
Well, I said 10 for an ottoman, I think we said 20 for a couch and 40 for a sectional.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we had 30 for sectional.
I said that, but Todd said no.
No, I think this should be twice as much material as a regular
Yeah,
couch.
in room.
Everybody agrees.
It takes the room up.
There's one thing
I know, several was that
because I'm
sectional.
still waiting on Lancaster to return.
So,
What was it?
The furniture, like the sofa and stuff, I don't have Lancaster's response yet to my inquiry about pricing. But right now, just based on Sterling, we're $35 under sleeper sofa, 55 under chair.
Really?
30.
Wow, okay.
So going up these prices, you guys are not realistically that far off.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the next 3 minutes, do we want to focus on the bottom third of this paper and we can actually make some tremendous progress?
Yeah, let's do it.
Double everyone.
At least, no?
I would say at
At
least,
least.
if you're getting trailers, that many trailers,
If I go to NER with an 8-foot trailer, it's costing me $90.
right?
No, it is. Even my little landscape trailer, if I take materials, like up over to NER, way more than going to the transfer station.
I did
I mean,
not
not that we want to be in NER, but I mean, that's why we're
Yeah.
getting so much.
But I cover you.
But if our cost is too high, they can take it to NER, it's not that far to go.
Right,
Win-win.
yeah.
So Todd, you're suggesting double everything on the trailer fee?
Well, I said that, but, trailer fee is one thing, I understand the bulky items and the construction debris, that is kind of more than double, but if you said to me, 8-foot trailer is gonna be $50, I wouldn't complain at all, because again, right now, people can bring in enough to fill a dumpster for less than the price of renting a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
But it costs us more than the price of the dumpster by the time we take it all, so, yeah.
So is, just so I'm clear, would you consider a dump trailer a separate entity regardless of its length?
No, what do you mean, like it can hold?
Well, no, in other words, you mentioned dump trailer, okay. If somebody comes in with one of these giant contractor dump trailers, it's
Do you get
10 to
those?
15 feet long. Should it be considered as a 10 to 15 footer, or is a dump trailer a separate entity?
It should be a separate entity, or we could just eliminate it all, just not have dump trailer and get rid of that.
Well, cause this is a tow trailer.
I don't.
Yeah, I recognize that, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think, if I happen to have a dump trailer and I'm a homeowner, why should I be penalized? Because I have the ability to go, and dump it in the thing.
Sure.
That's why I asked the question, I mean, is it a separate entity or just go
Right.
by the length of it? That's, it's a question, not
Yeah.
Too bad we
trying to go in
didn't
a
have a
particular
scale.
direction.
Why do we have we have 4 different tiers for trailers? Why do we have so many?
Well,
Those have been in existence since before
Okay,
I
that
got
doesn't
here,
mean it's
so-
right.
No, I'm just saying
It
it
should
should
be
be
9 to
created.
10 foot, right?
Uh,
Because you have the top column, the top one is 8 feet or less, and then, so which is it? I'm an 8-foot trailer, am I $20 or am I 8 to 10 foot, so am I $40?
So here's my opinion.
Less than 8 foot.
I actually hauled trailers in a previous life. A single axle trailer will not be longer than 10 feet.
Okay,
A tandem axle trailer will go from 10 or bigger all the way up to 20. So why don't we just make that distinction? Single axle or double axle?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
And does
Yeah.
that matter? It doesn't matter if it's a dump trailer or anything like that.
right.
No. You
Takes
can- yeah,
takes the tape measure away.
Takes the tape measure away, takes the argument
It's just
away.
gonna count to 2.
But I would increase the
Yeah.
cost significantly for
Right.
both.
Never
So-
seen anything when someone.
So single axle, at least 50, and I'd like to discuss that further. And the tandem axle, at least 100, and we can discuss that further.
Cause you can really fit that much more in a double.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because they can hold a lot more.
yeah, for the weight.
And again, part of this is we don't have the data to know if that number's right, but we know that number at 20 was wrong.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here again, you wanna go to that point of 50 and 100, 6 months down the road, we revisit it after we have some data and say, gee, we did really well, or we need to make these modifications. But clearly, something has to be done
Mm-hmm.
right now.
I mean, I'm okay with 50 and 100 for now, because again, everybody's gonna freak out because it's more than double what I was paying, and I've been bringing in a trailer every Saturday for the last 20 years.
Wow, you
and
made
it's
out
been
good
great,
then,
yeah.
you made out really
And-
good.
And the, it may almost behoove the Board of Health to print up crib notes, if you will, of what the state's changes have basically done to every municipality, and when they come in, I've been here for 20 years, blah, blah. I understand the problem. And here's why we have to do this. We're the victim, we're forced to do this because, and I think that's essential also too. And, it's not, we are responding to what the state is mandating,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a lot of burden off.
That's a great idea.
I think.
Does it cost anything
So-
to print up papers?
And again, just to throw it out there, if we go back to 2013, that's as far back as I can go, it was only $25,000 a year to run the transfer station. It's now $60,000. And the prices haven't changed in that 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, say we haven't changed the prices.
So it's more than double for the cost, for us to double the cost is
So you have a maximum size of 16 foot on this, is that comfortable, are you comfortable with that? That's pretty much what you're seeing, because anything bigger than that really isn't a home.
I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like this.
Right, okay. So 16 would be the maximum size accepted. Everybody following that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we're going to charge 50 in 100?
Yep.
Single axle 50, tandem axle 100, and 16 foot is the maximum trailer. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you turn back anybody with a long bigger trailer? Do you have to do that?
So, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. You go ahead, yeah.
That's right. Point them right up the road.
All right. Over to the right side, bulky
Yeah.
item. What is this? This is a pickup truck?
Oh, wait, can we go back to TVs on the left side? It says
Oh,
it's
yeah.
$20, I'd like to have a tabletop and a console. Again, there's no measuring, he doesn't have to measure diameters or anything, it's just because it's weight.
Television's on the left side, on the right
The
side?
right side, right
I
side.
printed out a chart for myself so I could write it down, sorry. It's, the
So you
top,
wanna have 2 tiers of television?
so I think a tabletop should be 20 and a console should be 40. I don't know how anybody else feels about that.
That's fine, that's fine.
You're the expert.
No, I understand that, but it's one of those things, it's a matter of, it's obviously more than twice the weight. We've all picked up a console TV at some point in our lives, so.
Yeah,
Big and heavy, you're about $27.50 under the average right now, so that's a reasonable increase.
So I wanna understand this next one, because it's sort of, is this for pickup trucks, this right side? Because it's, the heading says bulky items including rigid plastic. But then it's pickup truck, full pickup truck. So what is this for? Is this this is not for, pickup truck comes in with hazardous items?
Miscellaneous items, a half bed, will have.
Could be anything though, right?
It absolutely.
I think you go to 50 in something similar to that, we're going with the trailers. The same size.
I think I might disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit
Because
smaller.
my pickup for bed, I have a Honda original, the bed's 5.5 feet with the tailgate up. Okay, I've seen other beds out to 7 feet with the tailgate up.
yeah, they're usually
So-
6 and 8s.
You can't do $10 though for half.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying you've got different bed length.
Okay.
Is it 25/50, is it 30/60, what is it?
Well, and the other thing you get into is how far are they filling up to the rail, or are they filling it up to the top of the cab?
It depends on, sometimes it,
No, that's what I'm saying, to me, that should affect the price, is, you know, if it's filled up to the bed, and, but
So-
now you're differentiating now, well, it's a little over the bed, and,
So
you know,
can you tell me what the tipping cost was it $77 a ton?
78, yeah.
78,
That's not for bulky though.
no. Yeah, so
Bulky's
what is this?
$140 a ton.
So what is this that you're getting rid of in the pickup truck?
Bulky? That would be technically like a, look
But
around,
that's
like
what I
this chair with this table.
But that's what I just asked, and I got two different answers. So you two guys get on the same page,
I'm
because
sorry, I didn't hear your answer, that was,
you saying that I can come in with anything in my pickup truck. He's saying it's bulky items.
you get like this, as long as it's not like a couch. Because like if you have a load, then you have to separate it, like, okay, you have a couch, that's.
anything already on that list, if it's already on the list, we pull that out.
Okay, so if somebody comes in with trash, debris, and a stove on top, they get charged for the stove plus the load.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you came in with 6 mattresses, you don't pay $20, you pay
Right.
6 times.
So I would take that heading off of
And
it.
my understanding as a resident is things that I bring in my pickup truck are the things that Borges won't pick up, that I can't put in a bag.
Well, you won't fit in a bag, yeah.
Right. Well, either won't fit in a bag or it's inappropriate to put it, in a bag like potato peels, just as a poor example,
So here's my point in asking you the cost. In a pickup truck the size that we have, you could easily put 500 pounds in that. That's a lot, but we could put 500 pounds.
Yeah,
in
and
that.
it's 140 a ton is our fee at New Bedford.
So,
That doesn't include Borges Strait and driving it
so
there.
25% of that is $35, roughly, right? So then Peter's number is more in line. So are we charging enough on the other side of the paper? With the trailers? I wanna make sure we get this right.
Right.
Well, here again, we need to do something now, and I would say this is the first step towards
Okay.
zeroing in on the right number, but the right number is gonna be driven by data.
Okay, so, all right, so I get it, so I'm overthinking it.
And again, if we go from 10 to 100,
Mhm.
the people are gonna be able to pitchforks.
All right, so
Side of the road.
does 25/50 make sense then?
I think it's a good place to start, because
Yeah,
if I look at it from how many of them would take to fill a dumpster, and you look at it that way, and the dumpster say $500, then, right, you need to cover that cost with however 10 trucks would cover the dumpster or something like that, 10 full loads. But yeah, I would think 25 and 50 would make sense. Do we wanna change the title from bulky?
I do, I think that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
So, this item's not already on chart?
Yeah.
Not listed above.
So a pickup truck, a full pickup truck
$50.
is Oh, 50, okay.
which is the same price
That's
as a
the
small
same,
trailer.
right, that's what I was hoping before.
So there's actually some rhyme and reason to the numbers we throw on the paper, yeah.
Just as a quick aside, we want to keep track of our soft costs. I get it. How do we do that? So when the DPW worker goes down to crush the thing, does he need to put an hour down on his timesheet, separated to a separate place?
We start with the POS,
Mhm.
that's when we
Oh,
start.
yeah, no, I understood that, that's hard cost.
And then we work on that as we go forward.
I mean, you have electric meter up there, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So,
we-
I mean,
Well, because it came up with stormwater today, that she wants us all to track when we're going
Yeah.
where, so.
Yeah, so everybody's gonna have logbooks and, you know, and then when I give it to you, head spring, you see how many things I do in a day.
Well, unless we do it electronically, yeah. So-
No,
but what I'm saying is,
GPS on it.
So
so to track yourself, what do we just estimate, it's an hour a week for a DPW worker, and 2 hours a week for Roz.
that's gonna get
Whatever.
deeper in the weeds when we start to look at the management side of this, but for right now, I think the POS is step one, because the fact that we're still writing things on paper is ridiculous.
Definitely.
It's happening.
Yeah, it is, oh, it is.
Construction debris, we don't want to take construction debris, it's generally very heavy, but it generally also compacts pretty well in a dumpster. It's not like a couch that takes up a lot of air.
So I agree, and as far as I'm concerned, if I'm a homeowner and I'm doing a renovation myself, and I'm creating construction debris, bring it to NER.
Then you need like ripped out 2x4s
Yes,
and all that
exactly.
kind of stuff,
Yeah, bring it to NER.
carpeting and.
Yeah,
It's so close, it's not like it's
Well,
80 miles away.
That's gonna be a problem.
Carpeting is a problem. And
No,
then,
no, I'm asking the question, would that include? Okay, now I'm getting down to the individual homeowner, and I appreciate what we're trying to do, however, also providing a service for the home of the husband and wife, or the couple, if you will, that decide to tear out that wall so they can have a kitchen, living room, and they should be able to take the 2x4s and the sheet rock at C and D and bring it to the municipality's transfer station.
what if they hire somebody to do the work?
Mhm.
Well, I understand that, but still, people like to be handy, and particularly where we are right now with
Replacing a
inflation.
toilet even for that.
I'm sorry?
Replacing a toilet even for that matter.
Yeah, but I understand that, but people still like to put tools in their hands, and I think if you tell somebody, sorry, the homeowner that just did a wonderful job renovating his or her house by tearing that wall out, sorry, you've gotta go to NER. I think we're kind of taking a step back in serving the people of the town. That's the way I feel about
okay,
it.
so let me ask a question, and that's a valuable,
Opinion?
point, no, okay, no, point. Why do they do it with a permit? Are we able to get rid of this stuff? And if it is it just the weight factor that's the problem?
Yeah, the stuff we can't take, you look at the top, it says cement blocks, bricks, blacktop, sheetrock, roofing materials. Those are the things we can't take.
Right.
Because of those are different, but when somebody comes in, I think a toilet should be a separate item on this list anyway, like $10 for a toilet, because people replace those all the time. How many, I don't know, how many you got right now, 2, 3?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that to me is different, but certain things they can't bring, and they send that up there. But could we put a limit and say 1 load per day? And that's all you get?
Mhm.
Because we've seen guys come in there 7 times in one day to unload it, you know, and it's like, all right, obviously you're doing more than just residential home.
Oh, no,
Tearing down
absolutely
a wall.
agree.
How do you
Absolutely
monitor
agree.
what's one load a day from, how does he keep track, by plate number or driver?
Usually I write down a sticker number.
And if we get the POS, then it's real easy.
Right.
But John usually knows who's coming back multiple times in a day.
Yeah, you can spot them.
You know, the guy comes in with the pickup truck loaded to the you know, to the top of the roof, and then he comes back again with another pickup truck, you recognize, you know?
So the usual.
So, okay, so understanding that, and then I think I'd like to simplify it, because, you know, when you add all this stuff, to me, it's too much for interpretation. I would like to see, one line item, that's just my opinion, full pickup truck load or full trailer load, Sheet rock is already exempted, and that's why I asked that, because sheet rock contains asbestos, whether people realize that.
No, I didn't, when I said you, I didn't see that.
So, so do we just make it one fee? I don't, you got the half and the full, so I don't know, is that something that you see, or?
As far as construction debris,
Right, and the reason I'm saying this is, to me, I understand your point, but it's convenience that we don't have to offer. Because most people, when they do remodeling, take it to a facility like NER. Do other municipalities take that kind of stuff? They do. So everybody takes construction debris?
Pretty much. Because again, the homeowner wants to replace their vanity and they bring in the sink and it's like, oh no, sorry, we don't take that. It's like, so, yeah, most towns do.
Okay, so do we wanna keep the half and full? Is that something that you see as being?
You don't get a lot of it though.
no, it happens, but not as frequent.
The regular half, the bulky item ones that happen, those are like constant. But the construction is only, maybe one a week or every other week, it's not that much.
And again, just from a personal perspective, I think, people can understand costs increasing, et cetera, but it's my house, I pay my taxes, and I can't even throw this away, even if I wanna pay for it, give me a break. I mean, really, I'm not raising my voice to you, but you know what I'm saying.
I totally understand.
So
That's why I'll never be selectman, and you have been, and he is.
You would raise your
I
voice.
don't feel that way.
You don't hang around with me too often.
Yeah, if you think it's covering the costs,
I think it.
Well, I think it should be 1,500, I think it should be twice as much for a full pickup than just half a pickup,
Yeah.
but.
well, that would be consistent with what we were doing thus far.
Because if they come in with more than a pickup truck load, to me, it's not residential anymore, that's, at one time. If somebody wants to come in with a trailer on the back of a pickup and everything.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, right, I'm gonna pay $100 for my pickup truck to be full. I'm gonna get a can for $400, because that's what it costs for a can. If I'm doing a renovation project at my house, it's just more cost effective. Plus, I don't tie up my truck.
Mhm.
But if you only got one load worth, then this would make sense, but right, if you're gonna do a lot,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So how-
like,
What are we talking about pricing on construction?
1,500.
Unless, did you want to?
So we're keeping it at 50 and going up to 100?
Yes, it's twice as much for the full load.
No, so what is a half a pickup gonna be again?
Yes, right here.
Oh, I'm sorry,
50.
okay, yeah, so it's gonna be 100?
No, it's
A
15.
full load.
right?
So it's 50 for half a truck. So are we okay, do people like the idea of adding in a toilet? And I say that because there's certain items that keep popping up individually.
How about if you do toilet or sink?
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
but then wouldn't it wouldn't it fall under the metal? Unless it's
The ceramics.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just,
Does anyone try and throw away a bathtub?
But that would be construction debris though, wouldn't it?
What do you usually do for that?
Or just bulky. Could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, there's never really been no fine line, but it happened once.
Oh,
What did you do for that? I'm just curious.
Bulky.
The bulky?
There's probably close to half a pickup truck load or whatever you probably.
Yeah, so-
No, seriously, $5, he looks at
Mhm.
and how much volume it takes up in the bin and there you go,
so what are we charging for toilet sink?
10. They might be-
Unless it's a metal, then.
Yeah, that's metal then.
Yeah,
Can't imagine
Ceramic.
any metal sinks.
So, what about the rugs?
yeah, the kitchen sinks, huh?
Yeah.
Kitchen
Right, I
sinks
guess
are
so,
metal.
right.
Do we get a lot of sectional, not sectional, what do you call
Rugs, carpets?
them? Area rug?
Oh, we didn't do carpets, huh?
Sometimes we do. Recently, it was like 5x8, I charged like $5 something. But anything like 10 by 12, maybe.
I think, some time ago, we said we were gonna look at a few of these things. I'm not looking at the clock, but we said we'll look at a few of these
Can we
things,
have 3 minutes?
collect data
Yeah.
to see,
Yeah.
to give us some guidance in terms of this entire list.
Right.
And we've gone off in a direction here that based upon the experts said, well, this is what we see.
Yeah.
We feel this is what we should charge.
Yeah.
I think we should stop this now and look at the data collection, let's say in 6 months. And I will say, I'll get back to one other point that I made a little bit earlier. I think it is incumbent upon, let's say, the Board of Health to, number one, put a flyer out there saying, look, we're starting to deal with this state law, and this is the impact of the state law on municipalities. Somehow get it out in the various meetings that we have to the general public. Number two, perhaps multiple paper copies of that, along with some of the reasons these costs have gone up. Something real simple as a handout. And so, you know, he doesn't have to keep repeating time that this is this, because you almost make us, hey, look, we're in the same boat as you are, the state. And the state is, you know, do this onerous things to us. So we're just, as opposed to, we did this to you.
Along with that, as a hangout, you know, where we can also have, hey, this stuff is gonna come. This is why, so that way the residents aren't like shocked that one day they drive to the transfer station and they're like, whoa, like, I never knew about this, so like.
Well, you know, that's the easy way out. I never knew that well.
That's why we're gonna give them the information to, you know.
Exactly.
X
Well, it's like
amount of
nobody knew at Hazardous Waste Day that we didn't take latex paint, but it was plastered everywhere.
Yeah,
Maybe on
that was the second
the
one in line.
board out there, the electronic board, when we get done with the boosters, with the flu shots.
And I think at the,
You get the special
selectmen's
election
meeting
and
and
the
board
town
meeting,
meeting
and
and
meeting
all
out.
Oh, that's right,
this
that's
is happening.
right, that's
And go
right.
to our website to see
Right.
why and what.
Then post it, just like post it, so sure this is what's gonna be upcoming.
So to wrap up, and we can make sure that this didn't fall on deaf ears, I'm guessing that you're going to revamp the price sheet based on our recommendations tonight. Can you just very quickly go over those?
Yeah, I was gonna present it like this when it went up, it was gonna say what the current fees were, and then a column for what the solid waste committee is proposing.
Okay.
And then I thought the Board of Health was gonna do it to recommend, but if we do it in a joint meeting, we don't have to add in that column. But I would add in a column, Board of Health / Board of Selectmen, so they can write next to it what they've come up with that they want, because they can change any one of the fees they want, even if we don't recommend it, they could change the price of the dishwasher.
Can you just very quickly go over what you have to make sure you captured everything?
Sure. Would you like me to make it in the form of a motion?
Oh, yes, because we actually have to do this. Yes. Please.
So I will motion that we recommend to the Board of Health, Board of Selectmen to adjust / add the following fees. Sectional couch, $40, regular couch, $20, ottoman, $10, console TV, $40. The tabletop will stay at the 20. Car tire, $10, truck tire, $15, tractor tire, $20. Trailer is gonna go to single axle, $50, double axle, 16-foot max, $100. Miscellaneous items not listed, half a pickup is $25, a full pickup is $50. Construction debris, a full load is gonna go to $100, and a toilet or sink would be $10.
Bang, second.
Second.
All those in
Wait,
favor?
did you second it?
Don't forget the 16-foot maximum
You
in
mentioned
toilet.
that.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
She's getting tired.
I'm tired. Oh, you do the TVs too?
Yep.
See, I was looking at
All
something
over.
else.
You do a vote?
Yeah, all those, yeah, second,
Great, we got a second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wow, we accomplished a lot.
Who wasn't here to slow it down?
So that.
I'm gonna tell you so that.
What's next one?
Because we haven't addressed whether that means.
I think we turned it off.
You just think about a meeting date,
It's
though,
not
right?
written.
Right.
What else?
It's not written. I'd love to have you there.
Yeah,
I did the minutes, right?
No,
Oh, we didn't.
we need to do those, or else we need to do an open meeting.
You have to, set a meeting first.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
that's it.
Right, exactly.
When is the fall town meeting?
November 5th.
November fifth?
Good job, everyone.
Wait, we're not making, whoa.
No, please don't leave us.
Sorry, no,
Please
no.
don't leave us.
You still have to set another meeting date?
Okay, under, new business, I am gonna table the Review the Stuff Act, Transportation Swap Table for a different time. Does anybody have any other new business?
I would like to just say that you guys are doing really good work, and for anybody that may rewatch this, it is gonna be a long grind for this committee because you're trying to catch up on 20 to 30 years of not having anything done. And I would strongly recommend people going to the upcoming town meeting to vote in the affirmative for the POS system, because that is really what is gonna drive this committee to make the right decision. And just know that it's gonna take, in my own best estimate, probably about a year before you can really flesh everything out, because if it's, you get voted on, you get it, it doesn't get installed till the spring, then you need 6 months really of good solid data before you really come back to the table and start really adjusting prices to where they need to be, which puts you at right about this time next year, so you guys are doing great.
But we'll be diligent. Thank you.
And I will stick around for as long as you need me, even after my
Awesome.
project is over. So my project is over, December, like 13th, and I graduate on the 15th, so I will stay beyond that if
Great,
if you
thank
feel
you.
I'm needed.
Well, I think we got a lot of work to do, so.
Okey-dokey.
So I don't know if you remember, but I was supposed to be on vacation today, I wasn't. So
You say that all the
I moved my vacation
know.
to November, but I do plan to come in for night meetings.
Wasn't the application like last week or something?
I was, yeah, I was like, 2 meetings.
I will be visiting Mickey Mouse,
He was way,
California on the 5th through the 11th with 2 little kids that their eyes are already this big.
You want a third big kid? Cause I love Disney, so, cause if my eyes would be that big.
First time for California.
There you
We've
go.
taken them, our grandkids to Disney in Orlando before, but this is the first time.
I'm so
Excited
excited.
to meet you. And is everybody still okay with Wednesday the 6th, or does anybody wanna?
No, there's no 6 on the Wednesday. 9?
No, 6 o'clock.
I was talking about time, is everybody still feel, considering how late these meetings can go, does everybody still feel comfortable?
I think we did really quick tonight.
We,
Well, are we
we checked
covered?
a lot of boxes tonight, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't think that's where he's going.
I'm good with 6.
Where are you going?
Or you wanna go early?
Well, are people still okay saying hypothetically 8:30? Like,
I-
That's early.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it on the table.
We're getting work done.
So Wednesday's still at 6?
If we had not accomplished anything at 8:30, then I'd leave here a little
Yeah,
upset. But-
yeah.
So you're on vacation.
5th through the 11th of November.
And we have a meeting early that first week, so we're looking after the 11th.
And I'm sure nobody wants to do the day before Thanksgiving.
No.
So what about November 30th?
We're at the end of the month?
How about the 16th?
You coming back on vacation?
No,
You're back on the 11th, so you
Right,
can
he's
do
back on the
11th, you do the
Right.
16th.
I think that's 15th.
No, the 5th through the 11th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you could do the 16th.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You miss them all anyway.
We have a small one.
I'm off for my ablation in Boston the 17th.
You-
I've got a legit,
Are you opposed to us meeting on the 16th?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
The 30th is open, it would be the 5th week of the month, so that would be open too. And I'm not saying we should not do the 16th, I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm gonna be off for 2 or 3 days that week, previous week.
Thanksgiving,
Holiday, yeah.
so we wanna go with the 16th?
I think it's 16. I'm good.
Works for me. We have a storm water that day, so it makes for a long day, but
And
Yeah, I know, that's the only thing.
Either the 16th or the 30th.
That doesn't involve all of
Either
us, just
one.
3 of
Either
us on the mic.
Second Karen, 16th or the 30th? 16th.
Sounds good to me. I'll be here if I'm good.
At 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
1400.
and before we get to an open meeting law complaint, we need to approve our minutes. There's not an item number one on the agenda, we just skipped.
I think we did.
I thought you guys were doing it.
Oh, Mike did it, yeah, Mike did it, never mind.
Yeah, we did.
Any public input?
So John, I need you to sign it.
No public input?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is now ended.
Aye, Captain. No more discussion.
Thank you all. Oh, Lord.
Did you stop recording?
Not yet.
Okay.